Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of Dread Zone Gaming as we're bringing you Dread Zone Gaming Tartarus vs. Big Duck Entourage. I'm all by myself tonight, so hopefully things go smoothly as we are already in the draft phase. Looks like Dread Zone Gaming Tartarus does not want to deal with Jen, and Big Duck Entourage is taking away the Eason and the Diana. Luck's going away now as well as we're seeing the rest of the bands coming out. So, kind of looking back, Dread Zone Gaming Tartarus has a little bit of an uphill battle here, as they have not had the best last 3 weeks. They got taken down by Sprouts, Dreadnought Tempest, and Stubby Gun. And if we're looking here on the other side, on Big Duck Entourage, we'll get you a little bit of their stats here in a bit, but I believe that they are also on a losing streak as well. They also lost to Sprouts, Dreadnought Tempest, and Stubby Gun. Let me double check to make sure that is correct. And yes, it is. It looks like they just did not play last week. So yeah, we're seeing some picks come out now. The Jarvan pick, for that blue side, first pick, seems to really kind of indicate what Big Duck Entourage really wants to do here. And I like the pick coming out here with the Graves. Jarvan locks somebody up in his Cataclysm, and Graves has a lot of walls to be able to bounce around his Q off of. They went with the double pick of the AD here, so they have the jungle Graves and the bot lane Caitlyn here. So something definitely a little bit unorthodox, as we haven't really seen too many Caitlyn's in the most recent meta. We've seen a lot of the Tysas, the Vaynes, even some of the utility Ashe, and definitely a Felios being super apparent in the meta. So Caitlyn really interesting coming out here from the side of from Tartarus. And Big Duck says, hey, you want to pick 2 ranged AD champions? We'll do the same thing with an Ashe and Corki. Granted, Corki with his Hectech Shrapnels on his passive is, yeah, he builds AD, but none of his damage is actually AD, so that's a definitely a good pick there. And one of the things that we'll have to be keeping our eyes on for is definitely going to be that Corgi package. So whenever you hear that air siren going off, definitely see what objectives are on the map. We'll try doing our best to keep an eye on that as well. So ladies and gentlemen, I might have misspoken earlier when I said jungle Graves. That could very well be the mid lane Graves, as we are now seeing the Jinja lock for the side of Dread Zone Tartarus. And where that might be going, I cannot say for 100% certainty, as we have seen Ty picked that up in the jungle before, but we have not seen Silver El Tsunami play that in mid lane. And if I am not mistaken tonight, Silver El Tsunami will not be joining DZG Tartarus, so definitely going to be looking to keep an eye and see what Silent Elements is going to be doing here for the side of Tartarus. Just to kind of expand on that a little bit, we did have a little bit of a roster shakeup, and Silent Elements, who did emergency sub for Elysium last week, will actually be completing the regular season out with DZG Tartarus. We're going to see a plethora of subs come in as everybody has their summer plans or has made certain decisions regarding the team. Seeing some more bands come in, definitely focusing on that top lane as the Set and Shen are taking off the table, and DZG Tartarus opt to take out the Malzahar and the Ornn. So, last couple picks coming in here now to round out the comps. And we are getting the Morgana, so definitely offering a lot of safety for whatever champion she decides to put that black shield on. But also those bindings and ultimate really providing a lot of lockdown for anybody that they managed to connect with. So always a very annoying champion to deal with, and not a very fun one if you're ever up against it, unless you have some sort of spell shield. Oh, I do not like that champion. Get hit by a binding and you're there for a year and a half. But we see Big Duck Entourage answering with a Lulu, so really looking to take one of these carries and empower them. And you have a little bit of the Dunk Squad members coming out with the Malphite and the Jarvan here. So definitely a lot of engaged tools, a lot of layering potential here with the Corki package, and I want to see what Dread Zone is going to answer with. They don't have a lot of AP coming in for their team comp right now, especially if that Morgana is going to be in the support position. I imagine they still want to look for a top lane pick here, as maybe I will be wrong. And I don't think I am. So the Sylas coming out, a fantastic answer into the Malphite. Sylas is able to take Malphite's ult and pretty much use it better, especially since I imagine, I could always be wrong, that this Malphite will opt to go for tank. So the damage output on Unstoppable Force won't really be all that in a bag of chips. but Silas is able to take that with his insane AP scaling and really nuke someone. So, fantastic pick there. Great counter into the Malphite, and it really answered your problem when it comes down to the AP ratios just not being there for the side of DZG Tartarus. However, this means that DZG Tartarus will not be looking at a great front line, so they definitely have rather a little bit more of the harder to execute comp. So we'll definitely be looking to see how they play the map and things shake up. So right now, kind of going from top to bot, I definitely think DZG pulled off a good idea here with holding on to it, letting the Malphite go through, and then picking up the Silas. And I think, about level 4 to 5, um, that Silas definitely starts coming into his own. Once he gets gets a few points into the Kingmaker, is able to survive those short trades with the Malphite, and then definitely when those 6 comes online, definitely has the upper hand. Can't speak too intelligently into the Jarvan matchup, into the Graves, but the Caitlyn was a fantastic pick. I'm sorry, I apologize, the Jarvan into the Xin Zhao. But the Caitlyn certainly was a fantastic pick. Jarvan goes in with a Cataclysm. You have the 90 caliber net to really be able to dodge out of that. So I definitely think that was a very strong move from Trey, even though, maybe Caitlyn's not in the strongest position in the AD carry world. But going into a more utility-based AD carry like Ashe, maybe it'll be fine. It's really going to depend on how much mileage the side of Big Duck Entourage really get out of the Enchanted Crystal Arrows and the Hawk Shots as well. Now, going into the mid lane, once again, I cannot speak intelligently to the Graves Corki matchup. I think it's a very interesting one, and Corki definitely has the range advantage. So, definitely going to be keeping an eye on how that matchup plays. And like I said, kind of going back to it, we really have to watch out for that package as we move forward on the game. So, timings, maybe Corki should delay to pick up for when objectives are going to be relevant. And then in the bot lane, Lulu Ashe versus Caitlyn Morgana. Unless bindings are really going to be hitting, I don't expect too much action going on down there. So we will see how that all pans out. As we are now now halfway through just the draft picks here. Really don't have too much more to say other than I really am hoping that, just due to the subs of Argo the Radis coming in from mid lane and Silent Elements slotting into the AD carry position, that they're really able to do something here, and also Ominous coming in for jungle as well. So definitely a lot of mix up here for Tartarus, and maybe it's what they need. They need maybe a little bit of an injection of fresh blood in here to really bounce things back, and we're seeing the same members come back from the side of Big Duck Entourage. So maybe either way, each team should be able to fully capitalize on things. Actually, kind of looking back at it, I don't think that. Oh man, I really don't want to say this. I'm gonna have to. Swag Money Boy. I don't think he's played with the team before. I see. Previously they had JJ in the jungle, Grand Royal, and Ravenstorm, and Grand Royal again coming back. Both of those individuals, Ravenstorm and Grand Royal, being in for the Stubby Gun games. So maybe that's their injection of fresh blood, or maybe it's just a rename. I can't say for certain, as we are getting in those last picks. But ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we lock in this Lulu, we're going to be heading into our spectator delay. So catch us here in about 3 minutes, as we'll be bringing you into the action of Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus versus Big Duck Entourage. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we are now taking to the Rift here, getting started in just a few seconds with the game. I'm not really expecting too many level 1 shenanigans, but you never know with this elo and what a Morgana might want to do. We're now seeing both teams start to fan out, and it looks like the red team will be going with that 5-point setup. We are seeing the 5-point pings coming out from blue side as well, so not going to be seeing too much going on here level 1, I don't think. Maybe some cheeky Spell Thieves procs, as both supports do have that item.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
So I think possibly purple definitely has, I think it's at a Tata? I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but Binding does come out connect, and that is going to be a little bit of that Spell Thieves action, so Morgana getting the I think that's 30 gold there, 15 per proc, so definitely feeling good about that. That's almost a potion, possibly. Good job. So yeah, I don't really expect to see too many things happen in the early game. For the bot lane, unless Jarvan decides to go for the level 2 gank. But he is starting on his top side jungle, actually not opting for the red side, so most of the time, I'd anticipate Jarvan go for the red start, and then immediately go for the level 2 flag and drag. But he's opting to go for the blue start here, which will give him that cooldown and more of a clear jungle speed, but might slow down our early game just a bit. And if I'm going through here and looking, I can't really say for certain how I feel about the late game. I know Corki scales incredibly well, but so does Silas, and I think Graves does as well. I think he scales reasonably well, but you're not really seeing any of these late game hyper carries that we've been seeing recently. You're not seeing the Vayne, you're not seeing the Kai'Sa, not seeing Rise, Vladimir, etc., etc. As we're just kind of getting the little trade patterns coming out here in the mid lane. Graves going in for the electrocute proc, but another thing that I used to love about Graves was his laning rework, as Silent Elm was definitely not taking the greatest trade down there, and same thing for Evil Gambit, but like I said, these early trades really don't matter too terribly much. Jarvan going for a very safe clear, not opting for the immediate level 2 shenanigans that we saw. But kind of going back to it, we saw, but before, I love Graves in the lane with pre-rework. But after the rework, just laning with him feels so incredibly awkward because you have to really be careful about your minion wave position. The only champion to really have any sort of auto issues when it comes down to... Oh, we're seeing the gank now as the flag has not come out yet. Graves getting a lot of damage on this Corki. Will get the first blood. Gonna start running it out. Does not have the summoners available to escape. Gets the first blood in the 2v1, and I think the Jarvan there was just way too respectful of the potential the escape there. Didn't really get anything too monumental to really interrupt the Graves output onto that Corki. And Corki, like I was just talking about, did not play to that minion wave strength. And if you don't play to that minion wave strength and Graves gets those auto attacks, you're taking a shotgun to the face. And it's gonna hurt. And we saw that as Argo played that phenomenally, looking down the barrel of that Jarvan gun, was able to get the kill. And not only did the first blood go over to Argo in a 2v1, which is fantastic for him, but also the gold went over to the Jarvan instead of the Corki for the return kill. So Dreadzone, you cannot ask for a better outcome than that. Maybe if Argo was somehow miraculously able to survive, but just based on those circumstances. Because we do see Jarvan now looping it again. He knows that the Graves flash is unavailable. We do see Xin Zhao kind of hovering there, might be able to respond, as yes, Jarvan is going to go for it. Xin Zhao has to come immediately. Graves walking up to it. Do they spot this out? Flag and drag into Ominous, and they should just turn this damage on. Immediately flash out from the Jarvan. The knockup connects, and Swag Money Boy will fall to Ominous on the Xin Zhao, and Dreadzone, right people at the right time, fantastically played. Man, that was so good, and you even saw the response from Possibly Purple. Silent Elements was on the reset there. Possibly Purple saw the opportunity to roam up, so even if, Ominous wasn't there, it still would have been a really hard time, but Swag Money, you don't want to fucking take the flag and drag into places where you don't know, right? Especially in moments like that. You're going into the dark bush, you don't know why he walked up that way. The only assumption that you can make in that situation is that they're running to the jungler, and he just did not respect it and immediately went into his demise. I did get a confirmation over break, and I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for not letting you know, but my wonderful producer actually did inform me that BDE Swag Money Boy is indeed a roster substitution, so has not played with this iteration of Big Duck Entourage before. Sorry about that, getting a little bit of a sip. But yeah, so Dreadzone Tartarus, phenomenal early game, just really reading what this Jarvan is doing and preventing everything that he wants to do in the mid lane. And that's going to set Dreadzone up with an 800 gold lead. And I'm sure that Ominous and Argo are feeling fantastic about this right now. We do have a Cloud Drake, Ocean Drake, as the first available one on the map. And I imagine people are going to want that. That early healing and sustain in the lane phase feels really good if played around properly. And we're kind of seeing exactly what we'd expect and we talked about in the bot lane. Not really too much going on unless Q hits, and it does hit, but I don't think there's going to be any follow-up. That lane is devastating. If a binding does hit, the Caitlyn trap can come out, but you know, it really needs to be a closer range binding than that. Like, the enemy team of Harem and Ateta need to step up closer for the binding to connect and Verb to really get in there. Silent Elements to really get in there with the Yordle snap traps. As we're now seeing the fight in the top side, Evil Gambit does have the Malphite ult available. Teleport coming out very preemptively. He uses the Unstoppable Force to get out from that Jarvan Flag and Drag. Teleport burn there from the Corki as he thought maybe some more was going to go on. And Dreadzone, I think that once again is money in the pocket, right? We're seeing the trap come out exactly like we talked about. The 90 caliber net connected, and Silent Elements did get that headshot. Damage now going out to Harm, but I think they should be safe, as a fantastic binding followed up by that Yordle snap trap really enables Silent Elements to blow that Lulu up. So fantastic job from the 2v2 lane and the 2v2 fight from the side of Dreadzone. And wow, actually, I did not see that. That is a, wow, I cannot think of the word right now, but the runestone choice from Silent Elements is very interesting. Dark Harvest, there we go, thank you. Took me a second, but yeah, that, Dark Harvest coming in is going to give him so much damage. He hits a headshot later on in this game on a low health target, they're going to go boom. And especially with, I think, the fact that he's sitting on almost 3 if not 4 stacks now. I can't actually toggle that to see. We're seeing some posturing here maybe for this Drake, as Ominous and possibly Purple are pretty low, but Argo is really playing interference here. Corki was looking for maybe something cheeky over the wall, but did not hit the missile. And that dragon is definitely going to fall on the side of Dreadzone Gaming. They're Drake up, they're 1.7k gold up, and you know, they're doing fantastic. They're definitely in the driver's seat of this early game, as I think that was the Unstoppable Force coming out from that mount. No, it was not. It was just a the E connecting. It made it look like the Malphite moved. But yeah, no, the trade pattern is definitely starting to go on Evil Gambit's favor here, and that's kind of what you'd expect in this lane. Silent Elements now just kind of doing his thing in the 2v1 and looking very well off for it, as, you know, possibly Purple's coming back down. Evil Gambit's just kind of chilling there on the top lane, and you know, you have to feel really good right now if you're Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus. Possibly Purple is now here, might be looking for a binding opportunity, does not have Flash available, but stepping up for it, posturing. I think this is going to be it. Forces Harem back a little bit, but does not connect, and we're not going to see the full-on melt there. But also, not the one thing that I haven't been talking is we do see the root now. I imagine that has to be follow-up damage. Silent Element's damage output is just absolutely insane. Lulu goes down. Harm is being focused now. Silent Elements does have the flash to connect. Will he use it here? Decides not to. They take what they get, and they're happy for it, certainly. As another 2v2 fight in the bot lane goes in the favor of Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus. But one thing that I was going to start talking about is these CS leads, right? You have the 16 CS lead in the top lane. The Xin Zhao was 10 up on this Jarvan. Graves out farming Corki, and the same thing is going now for Caitlyn over Ashe, also sitting on 2 kills. Has to feel fantastic. We're seeing more of that trade pattern coming out here. Evil Gambit does have access to the ultimate, but it looks like Tartarus is now focusing on prioritizing this Herald. And I think they have the lane priority to do it, certainly. Corki does not have package available, and it should be their objective. We're seeing Corki trying to contest it now, as Argo is now going to start looking to fight him, getting a lot of that damage out here, but I think the Jarvan, instead of answering the objective, is going to look to try to turn that into a 2v1. But it kind of fizzles out. Corki returns to start CSing, and we see that Ateta wanted to come up on this Lulu, but is just a day late and $1 short for this objective. So yeah, kind of going back into this lull state again. Evil Gambit has really turned this lane on its head. Like we said, we expect this. But that is a very interesting decision from the Malphite here. He opted to go for the Dorn's Shield, which I personally, as a previous Malphite main, don't really agree with. We're seeing just the Herald drop here. I don't think we're actually going to see the W onto the Corki here. Absolutely did not. But he opted to go for the Dorn Shield on the Malphite, which I just feel is very suboptimal um, for the mana patterns here. We are seeing some of the damage come out as Corki is taken very low. Swag Money Board is now being focused by Ominous, but nothing really is going to come out of that. We do see that Evil Gambit is sitting on that unstoppable force, and that's something that I want to talk here for in a second. But not only did he opt to go for the Thorn Shield, which in of itself is fine, but immediately following up with a Giant's Belt instead of, you know, maybe some sort of Grievous Wounds with, maybe even an Oblivion Orb to kind of mitigate the Silas a little bit. Maybe Merc Treads. Maybe going for the Balmy Cinder. I mean, yeah, Giant's Belt's great and all, but all it does is give you flat health, and that's not going to be too optimal for this matchup, especially when, you know, you're already on that dangerous seesaw precipice. We see BDE go in under Argo, and a damage coming out. Argo flashes in, will not get that last auto attack, as the Quirky is here at the right time, pumping out the damage now. Tower was not Argo's friend, as Uncool Squash does finally pick up the kill on Argo, and Argo just a little overzealous there on the flash and did not have the auto attack range. And that's going to be one quick kill going over to BDE. Not really shoring up this 3,000 gold deficit, but definitely helping out their goals here to keep their Corki in this game. We are seeing these trading patterns come out, and the bot lane of Tartarus is just absolutely smacking Harem and Ateta. They are not enjoying this. So, yeah, we're just seeing things kind of pan out as expected. Maybe that mid lane play wasn't exactly as expected. But one thing that I wanted to talk to everybody is the decision making from Evil Gambit here on this Silas. And one thing that I don't like on Silas mains is as soon as they have the opportunity to take the unstoppable force, actually, hold on, let me stop here for a second, as we're seeing the damage come out. Silent Elements does pop Haram before the Jarvan is able to join the fight. The Lulu self-ulted there, I think just for the knockup. Now the damage coming out of Silent Elements. Ominous is here, and I think that is going to be a clean robbery as Silent Elements gets the kill on Harem, and then is able to escape with his life with some well-played decision-making from possibly Purple, and Ominous being at the right place at the right time to really fizzle out any further chase by Jarvan. They then rotate these three members up, and I think that should 100% be their Drake. As I'm hoping Infernal, hell yeah! We got an Infernal Drake, ladies and gentlemen. So this is going to be fantastic to watch, as hopefully one of these teams will get that Drake. And just imagine, for 1 second, this Caitlyn with Dark Harvest stacks, 3-0, Duskbladed Dragthar with an Infernal Drake, people are going to pop like balloons, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be like watching somebody play a game of Bloons Tower Defense Simulator on League of Legends. It's going to be absolutely a joy to watch. Now, finally going all the way back to my previous point. I'm a big fan of taking a Silas ultimate whenever you're ready to use it. That way, like, the enemy can't really anticipate and play safe because of it. Unless that's what you're going. You're going for the fear factor there, right? Which is totally a viable option if you're going to say, hey, look, I got your ultimate, don't come near me. But unless you're planning to use it immediately or threaten with a teleport, I say hold off. Don't grab it unless you're worried that you won't be able to get it within the next X amount of time that you would want it. So, a little bit of me being nitpicky there, but like I said, first time solo casting, so I'm just trying to fill the void a little bit. As things are kind of just mellowing out here. Again, Ominous is definitely trying to zone off the bot lane side from Big Duck Entourage, and Silent Elements and possibly Purple are just going to smack on this tower. And I can't imagine this tower is going to be long for this world. So... oh, we are seeing a teleport in now from the Malphite. It was a double teleport, actually. Corki and the Malphite both coming in. We see the Enchanted Crystal Arrow connect on Silent Elements. I have to imagine that he dies here, as we are now seeing the damage, yes, ticking down from the Lulu. We're seeing the Xin Zhao go out now on the Corki, as that 1v1's happening over there. Possibly Purple does fall to Harem, as Ominous is dangerously low. A beautiful double teleport play from the side of Big Duck Entourage, as they were taking that bot lane first tower. But I have to imagine it's damning, right? You have this Silas left alone in the top lane. Graves did get that tower in the mid lane here, so that's going to be a lot of gold. Yeah, you got the shutdown on that bot lane, but was it worth it? Without Drake being up, I have to say no, as we do see Swag Money Boy getting a little overzealous here, going onto this Graves, who is a big damage threat right now. Doesn't really have the mana to follow up, and kind of that just fizzles out. But yeah, this top tower is going to fall, and we're looking at, I think, a 3 to 4k gold lead prior to that fight breaking up, and then with them getting the double shutdown, it didn't matter. We're still sitting at a 4.3k gold lead, and Dreadzone just opened up the map massively by taking all the tier 1 towers. So well played by Big Duck Entourage to pull the trigger on something, but was it what you wanted? I'd have to argue no. Um, and kind of going back to the lane states right now, like coming out of the lane phase, rather looking at the position of these laners. Ashe is sitting at a 40 CS deficit with 2 kills down. Graves and the Corki are about even, but I mean that's where a lot of the resources from Big Duck's Jarvan has been focused. And we're seeing the Jarvan and the Xin Zhao are about even, but look at the top lane. Yeah, definitely look at this top lane, as this Malphite is going to have a bad time. He tries to utilize the ultimate for Unstoppable Force to get out, does so successfully, following it up immediately with the flash. It is now a 3v4, as Ominous will be the target, pops the ultimate, and a beautiful enchanted crystal arrow does connect. Ominous will fall here, absolutely. Silas now trying to get it out, but Cataclysm comes down on his head. He is now the damage target, as all the members here are pumping into him, and he does fall. 2 kills going over. Silent Elements now smacking on, I believe that was Harem in the mid lane, and Graves just splitting on the bot lane. So another 2 kills going over. Gold lead staying once again about the same. So it is a little closer. It's not quite 4k anymore, but definitely a little closer, as, you know, Big Duck trying to pull the trigger, getting these kills. But I don't think Dreadzone is too phased by this. They're just saying, okay, cool, we're getting a lot of map pressure still. Drake coming up in a minute, and you know, I still think they win a clean 5v5. So, I will say, definitely keeping my eyes here on this Drake. Really want to see the Infernal Drake go over. I'm biased, yes, I do want it to go over to Dreadzone. I really want to see what Silent Elements can do with an Infernal Drake and this Dark Harvest build. Just because this Caitlyn has been absolutely shredding the bot lane members of Big Duck Entourage. And even in that bot lane play, right, that we saw the double teleport come out, Silent Elements was almost able to get a trade kill there. In a 4v2, realistically a 4v2, right? Because Ominous wasn't there really in time to balance that out. So definitely want to see this damage output. I'm loving this build. I think it's fantastic. Quirky did opt to go for the shield bow, so a little worried about this Caitlyn maybe as well, as, you know, you have two lethality members, Graves with the Eclipse and the Silent Elements with the Dustbladed Drakthar here, as they turn their focus onto the Drake, and Big Duck is opting to say, hey, look, we need some of this standing gold on the map instead of these stats. We'll contest maybe for the soul, but they opt for the Herald, whereas Dreadzone get the Infernal, and I think both teams are probably happy with their decision right now. I don't think that the members of Big Duck wanted to opt into this, as we are now seeing Jarvan on the wings here. Will he look for something? And I don't think so, as I have to say that this tower will fall. You have the Caitlyn here, you have the Graves here. Yeah, 100% of this tower will go down. And Ominous looking like he might want to pressure in a little bit, but nothing more than a little friendly poke. As we see now, pings coming out from the Malphite. Maybe he wants to go in. He's in a position here. If he gets a good unstoppable force, this could be a very interesting story. Whoa! Hey now, Evil Gambit. You might be in a little bit of a dangerous territory here if the members of Big Duck want to go after you, but they just didn't see the angle to pull the trigger. We do have the backing on the ward now, as possibly Purple gets hit by the Valkyrie. Silent Elements now being focused down and absolutely obliterated by this Corky's damage. Uncool Squash does pick up the kill. Double kill. Huge unstoppable force coming out now, hitting 2 members, Argo and Ominous. Damage going out now onto Argo as he's the focus. Para does take him down. 3 kills going over to the side of Big Duck. Make that 4 as BDE. Swag Money picks up Ominous for a 4-for-nothing slaughter. Herald dropped in mid, and this gold lead is now starting to fizzle out a little bit. And they just had the right moment there. Possibly Purple backing on a ward. Full vision. Quirky had the Valkyrie package ready to go, and just immediately blew them up. And after that, just able to shift their focus right onto the Silent Elements. And they got a lot of mileage out of that Herald. I was a little skeptical on that being 100% the right play for them. But with that fight going in their way, they were able to pick up a lot of that standing gold. Corki is now 4-1, sitting on a completed tier. When he finishes that tier item, which he should have the gold to get very damn close, gonna be absolute menace. You're gonna have a lot of that frontline threat coming out from the Malphite, and we found he doesn't feel too great into a tank. It feels okay, but not great. Especially since all of your damage components here coming out of Dread Zone, that are online, I should say, like really Silent Elements, Graves, and the Xin Zhao here. They're doing what Malphite loves. He loves to build armor because of his passive. He gets extra armor. So unless Silas really starts to get online and is able to offer some sort of shred, which he didn't go for the Landries, he went for the Everfrost to lock people up and do his thing. It's gonna take a while to get through the front line of BDE. Now, I did say we have Drake coming up here in 2 minutes, so definitely gonna be keeping my eyes on that as we move forward here. So, but yeah, definitely want to see this Drake pan out because, like I said, that's going to be a really big win condition for Dreadzone, especially with this large gold lead that they had available, not really existing anymore. It's practically an even game now. Yeah, Dreadzone still has a bit more map pressure, but with two towers falling in the mid lane, not so much. Yeah, they don't have the outers in the top and bot lane, but it's going to really be up for them to capitalize on those factors. And another thing too is how the waves bounce. It doesn't really offer you a lot of safety to be able to farm. Um, but it doesn't look like anybody's really freezing terribly on the side of BDE, not really capitalizing on what they could for gold value. And I think they're feeling comfortable. Oh, we do actually
A
have a
summoner
pause
has
coming in.
disconnected.
And just looking at my production staff, we are saying that it is due to a little bit of latency issues coming in from Para04. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into a quick break as we wait for this pause to resume. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back after that pause. So hopefully, the top lane from Big Duck Entourage was able to get a little bit of those latency issues resolved, or maybe if you're a Dreadzone fan, you're hoping that they didn't. Um, but I always love to see a good, clean game. So, oh, as we do have a little bit of a freeze up with the stream right now, but yeah. So Drake coming up in about a minute, and like I said, I really want to see how they're going to play around this. But kind of going back to one of the earliest comments that I made after seeing the draft being completed, the ease of execution really is on the side of Big Duck Entourage. They have a Malphite, which is easy go button, right? As we're seeing a little bit of fight here, it might turn into something as Evil Gambit taking a lot of damage. Enchanted Crystal Arrow does come wide. Flash out. Cataclysm does come out as well. Unstoppable Force used to escape, and that's a huge cooldown that Evil Gambit no longer has access to. But that also does mean that Cataclysm isn't available as well. And that was a lot of damage that the Malphite was able to get solo on top of um, I'm sorry, that Para was able to get out onto Evil Gambit just by himself. So that does spell a little bit of danger if you're looking to play for these side lanes. Evil Gambit does have the teleport available. His ultimate will be available soon, but he will not be able to steal Unstoppable Force. As we see 5 members strong here pushing up, teleport channeling out. Do they want to turn immediately onto that? Great Root does hit. Is any follow-up going to come? And the answer is no for right now. I did say 1 key ultimate coming out from Big Duck Entourage, but it was actually 2. Chance of Crystal Arrow not going to be available for this fight. As the Drake is now leashing onto the side of Dreadzone Gaming. A lot of damage coming out from this Corki, as possibly Purple is chunked extremely low. Positioning coming out here now. The well, we're now seeing it. Evil Gambit gets into there, but it looks like Corki was immediately able to use that Valkyrie and go into the backline and blow up the backline of DZG. We're seeing 3, 4, 5 members down. Corki doing absolute insane damage, picking up a triple, Jarvan getting the double, and that dashes the hope of Dreadzone getting the soul for the moment, as now 5 members strong. The side of Big Duck Entourage definitely shifting their focus over to this Nash. So yeah, definitely not what you wanted to see. And kind of like I said, the ease of execution, right? Corki had Valkyrie available, and even without the Unstoppable Force, that is one hell of an engage tool. And I said it earlier, Corki is going to finish this tier item, and is going to be an absolute menace. An absolute menace he was, as he just eviscerated possibly Purple and Silent Elements on the Caitlyn and Morgana respectively. And you hate to see that as a Dreadzone fan, especially when a lot of your hopes were really on Silent Elements to do well with this Caitlyn. But there's nothing that you can really do in that situation. You have no front line to really be able to lock this Porky up. And Evil Gambit, when he did finally pick a target, it wasn't a target that mattered. Wasn't able to lock him up, wasn't able to get the burst damage on here because a lot of your burst damage is kind of semi-reliable. You have a Graves, who we've talked about needs a clear line of sight to that target. You have the Caitlyn, who needs to be playing all the way in the back line to be the most effective. And when that headshot came out, I'm sorry, the ultimate came out from that Caitlyn, I think it connected on the Jarvan. Didn't actually hit a squishier member to really get the full benefit of the burst damage out. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely understand a little bit of the mentality there from the side of some Tartarus, right? Like, hey, Unstoppable Force isn't available, we need to pull the trigger. But Corki package is arguably a lot more damning, especially with a 7, I'm sorry, it was previously a 4-1 Corki, but 2-item Corki, right? He's got the shield bow, he's got the completed tier item. As we see 2 members here rolling up, Corki is now on top of Evil Gambit pumping out the damage, but it is definitely not going to be enough. Uncool Squash going legendary on this Corki, an absolute menace like we just discussed. We're seeing now Argo fighting Para, and Para, like we said, has a lot of armor. This damage is not going to be enough to shred through. Unstoppable Force comes out. Para now on a killing spree on this Malphite as he picks up the kill on the Graves, and this is looking like a very uphill battle now from the side of Dreadzone. Silent Elements turning the damage on, and I think he just wanted the Dark Harvest proc there as he says thank you next and goes to clearing the wave, knowing Malphite doesn't have Unstoppable Force available. But now we're looking at a 5k gold lead from the side of Big Duck Entourage. And this is 100% what you don't want to see. The members of Dreadzone are not online really to deal with the front line of Big Duck, right? And also the ease of execution isn't even there to really take an easy team fight. So this is going to be 100% an uphill battle. And so we saw kind of the win condition just slip away from their fingers. Dreadzone needed to play the map here. They really needed to identify avenues to really capitalize on this and play around the fact that they didn't have a front line. But they really wanted that Infernal Soul, and they kind of got baited into a really bad situation with it. Yes, there were some issues before where they kind of overstayed and overstepped their welcome, right? And maybe went a little too far in the top lane and the mid lane. But I think really the straw that broke the camel's back was certainly that Infernal Drake going over that they really wanted to get, and that just really allowed Big Duck to kind of snowball. And if Big Duck is able to secure this game, I think that's the moment that the team needs to go back and look at and say, hey, look, we don't have another one of those. We don't have another Vietnam around the Dragon Pit. I think we'll be fine. Um, but it's really going to come down to finding a pick now, I think. And it's going to be hard. You have the Lulu here, right? Corki is a very slippery target. You don't have the greatest lockdown potential with this team. So you're going to have to pray for a binding from left field. Listen, they might be able to get the pick here onto the Malphite. The chains do connect onto him. The Everfrost connects as well. The ultimate coming out from the Caitlyn, but this is a very tanky member. As a lot of the damage coming out here, Lulu is going to be here now to ultimate. And yes, double ultimate coming out, and oh my, this damage output is just insane, but the healing starting to come out from Evil Gambit. Some of the damage connecting. Evil Gambit opting to utilize the Zanyas there to dodge out from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Corki is now here pumping damage as he's going to get 1 kill, 2 kills, should be 3 if he gets this one, possibly purple. Absolutely does. And just how long it took them to kill that Malphite. Big Duck Entourage was just really able to answer and get an extreme amount of damage here. Corki is now sitting at 11-1, an absolute menace to society with, you know, this insane damage ratios that he's pumping out here. So, oh man, that is so much mileage that Big Duck Entourage just got out because Dreadzone just didn't have the tools to be able to burst Malphite. I said they needed a pick, but a pick needs to be like 3 seconds, not a day and a half. And Pero is the worst person to find that pick on. Especially with Lulu coming in, popping that wild growth, Malphite turning around without unstoppable force, and they almost won that fight without Corki showing up. So yeah, definitely things looking very hard here as now there's a 6k gold lead. Sitting on 2 Drakes here for the side of Big Duck Entourage, really starting to shore up all their avenues of that early game deficit. And yeah, it's gonna be an uphill battle. There's still a glimmer of hope. It really has to be a god binding on top of this Corki to really turn things around. And then hopefully the rest of Dreadzone manages to survive that small encounter. So yeah, things looking a little rough as I think we're just gonna start jockeying for vision. We have Nash spawning in 37 seconds. I do not see the status of package right now, but it should be coming up soon. Um, or relatively soon, but I don't think he'll be in time here for this Nash. 20 seconds here ticking down. It looks like Dreadzone has a little bit of vision, but definitely not control of the pit, as Big Duck Entourage should be able to sweep through here, clean it out, and get full control. And Dreadzone, I don't think they want to opt into a 5v5. They need to start splitting this map out. They need to start taking advantage of the fact that there's no teleports available from the side of... Oh, here we go. Argo is just not in a great spot as Corki just eviscerates him. And, you know, he saw his teammate backing there. He just was like, oh, I'm good to stay around for a little bit. And good to stay around for a little bit he was not, as this Malphite has no cares in the world. Stepping up. A lot of this damage just being output onto him. And he's still half health. Flash being used by Ominous to get on top of him. W does connect. Will he follow it up? He does. Gets the knock up. Damage still coming out. But it is taking the members of Dreadzone so long. Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow does connect, but it's not going to be enough as Silas does get the kill on the Lulu. But Corki is insane with this damage output. Double kill coming out from the Jarvan. Corki pumping out insane damage. And they say, hey, maybe we don't need Nash. We can just go to end this game. Para's going back to grab the minion wave now. We have Death Timers looking mostly 30 seconds here. As they might just want to break the base here. And they should definitely get it with how low this tower is. Swag Money taking up the tower. Focus is now going to be onto this inhibitor. As Para's bringing the minion wave, but I don't think they should be getting any more than that. Yeah, they opt to take the inhibitor and then just walking out as a unit. Graves is lone man standing here to try to get the minion wave here, and dead man walking indeed if you looked at that last play. So yeah, it's just from bad to worse as just the map is not theirs anymore. Even their jungle is not theirs anymore. And we talked about what Dreadzone's last hope for survival was. It was getting a pick, but instead it's them that's getting picked. And honestly, I don't know if this Malphite will ever die this game. He's sitting on his Anyas, he has the chains, he has the armor, and he's looking down the barrel of 3 AD threats and going, yeah, I'm not really feeling threatened here, guys. Um, we are seeing now Dreadzone is able to get a little bit of a jockey for that Drake vision. And they look like they're just trying to farm up. Maybe get some gold onto Silas. Maybe hopefully he's able to do something. He was able to get one kill in the last fight, but a Lulu for your whole team is not very worth it. So yeah, it's looks like we're just kind of waiting out the inevitable right here. Um, Members of Dread Zone looking for any chance that they have to get back into it, but it's definitely BDE's game to lose right now. I think they need to maybe look for some sort of miracle play, but mainly looking forward to what they need to change. Maybe gameplay wise, maybe they want to look at some draft adaptations moving forward as the Snash is falling and it should go down. Para just chilling in the enemy jungle, not a care in the world. As he's here now, might look for the unstoppable force, but there's a lot of spell shields available. Posturing. Chanted Crystal Arrow does come out, possibly purple with a beautiful flash here to dodge out of it. And we are seeing now recalls channeled. They want to go, spend some of their cash, come back, and try to break this base, or maybe they just go for the safe play and look for this Infernal Drake spawning in 40 seconds. Both are completely fine options, but they're definitely playing this a lot safer than I think they should have. If Yeah, as my coach always likes to say, with this kind of gold lead that you have right here, this game should have been over 7 minutes ago, if we're being honest. So, but hey, it's gold. Sometimes you just take the safe play instead of going all in. Does give the enemy team a little bit more chance to react, but also at the same time it dodges out of a 50-50. As Corky goes in, utilizes the Valkyrie, damage coming out on the Argo as Corky is now again legendary, 14-1, just without a care in the world. Saw the pick, took it, and dead man walking and not walking anymore as Graves does fall. And Corky just doing so much with this insane damage output, and he's looking fantastic on this pick. Um, and that was like one of the things I was talking about, is Corky did have the late game scaling, and he is 100% activated. Alright. We're seeing the fight come out now. There's a lot of damage going on to this Malphite, and by a lot of damage, I mean no damage. Para might be looking. He has the beautiful opportunity here. Will he pull the trigger? Does go for it. Gets two with the ultimate. He takes down possibly purple. Actually, it was Corky that got the kill on it. Now Ominous going forward, trying to get on top of this Corky, but it's not going to be enough. Double kill coming out from Uncool Squash on this Corky. Insane damage. I'd love to see these damage charts. As once again, just walking in, said, I don't care about the healing from your fountain, getting a triple kill onto the Caitlyn, and that will be the Nexus falling. Big Duck Entourage take game one in a very seesaw fashion. Dreadzone, that early game was 100% theirs, and they just did not transition well. Overstayed in a few places, really got picked off, just disrespecting a little bit of the engage tools. And oh, absolutely, the other members of Big Duck might not have well existed. Jarvan was like, I'm gonna lock him in here. Corky, you do your thing, and do his thing. He did. I think you need three people on any position, maybe minus the Malphite, to equal this man's damage. An absolute menace to society on this Corky, and we should be expecting nothing less after watching that game unfold. But Dreadzone, your early game was fantastic, and we're seeing it across the organization where we just really need to shore up that transition in the mid game, really secure the mid game, and then take it into late. And they had a lot of good things going for them. They just got baited and over-indexed into that Infernal Drake fight. Not really playing the map as well as they should have, without a front line or an easy-to-execute team comp, versus the easy trigger pull that BDE had. But ladies and gentlemen, it was a fantastic game to watch. Maybe not so much if you're a Dreadzone fan, and maybe it went a little longer than it should have. And by a little longer, I mean a lot longer. But I would love to see some of these draft adaptations that I should expect to see, or maybe just gameplay adaptations coming from both teams as we move into game two. I'll be bringing you that draft shortly. Stand by, and we'll be going on break. Catch you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back as we are bringing you the draft for DZG Tartarus vs. Big Duck Entourage. And we definitely had a long game from that last one. And I'm expecting a little bit of changes here from maybe either side. That Malphite really kind of was a really big problem factor, I think, for the side of Dreadzone. Not only was it just a really big frontline threat that they just couldn't nuke through, but it really offered so much ease of execution. As, both teams, actually, sorry, Dreadzone decided to maintain their red side stance. And it looks like both teams are opting to go for the same bans here. So maybe we won't get any changes, but I'm definitely interested to see what will happen. I really liked the early game prowess and kind of a little bit of the mid game, not too much of the Caitlyn Morgana, but they really didn't have too much of a team comp to really shine through with that avenue. As Dreadzone does make their first adaptation and said, hey, look, we want to disarm a little bit of the jungle ease of execution getting onto our backline. And I don't know if that was the route to go. Full confidence in Trey and his ability to draft, but most of the time that we saw the backline getting hit up, it was Corki. Or it was the Malphite, right? So the Jarvan not really doing his job as the AD carry containment facility, right? But a lot of it was Corki just saying, screw it, I'll Valkyrie into the whole enemy team and not care about it, not punish for it. As that is a massive draft adaptation. We are no longer looking at the lethality Caitlyn, but maybe potentially could still go mid, but definitely looking at that Ziggs locking in here for the side of Dreadzone, and they opt to go for the Trundle here, and that could still be a flex. Could still go into the support position, but I imagine it will most likely be going into the jungle. Now, I'm not too sure here about the Trundle pick immediately. I'm not sure what Trey is thinking. Maybe they're saying, hey, pick a Malphite. We'll just, steal your stats. Or maybe they're just wanting the champion for other reasons. But typically, anytime I see a Trundle, it's for counter purposes. It looks like we're having a little bit of a running theme here from the side of Big Duck Entourage. Harem is saying, hey, I really like champions with an R that go stop moving. We had the Enchanted Crystal Arrow last game, and now we're having the Varus Ultimate this game. So a little bit of a recurring theme in that regard for sure. And also bringing back the Lulu. I guess they really liked how the Lulu felt, offering a lot of safety for individuals that might have started to get picked out. And we talk about backline access. We talk about ease of execution for ultimates, and then you don't get a lot easier than Hecarim. Okay, a little bit of an over-exaggeration, like a Malphite for sure is easier, but, Hecarim offering a lot of similar kind of theme to what the Malphite could do with the ultimate. I think it's like Relentless Charge or something like that. But anywho, we're now seeing an Olaf. So once again, it's a game of, is this a jungle or is this a mid lane? And I have no idea. Is that a top lane Trundle? Is that a support Trundle? Is that a jungle Trundle? And is that a lane Olaf or is that a jungle Olaf? I'm gonna need some migraine medicine. Thank you very much, Trey. As Dreadzone make their next big adaptation and say, hey, look, we identified that your backline access might not have been that Jarvan. We're taking away the Corki. So yeah, and I guess their answer to the Graves was the Corki, so they're like, hey, we don't want it. And the Malphite going away as well here, so definitely we're looking at a whole new team lineup here from the side of Big Duck, with the exception of the support here. They don't have access to the Jarvan. They opted to go for the Varus instead of the Ashe, and Corki Malphite being taken off the table. But I really just want to see this draft phase boil out inside the client, because where are these champions going? There's so many flex potentials here, and my brain is just hurting. As we do see the Nautilus rounding out the second round of bans. And Dreadzone, what are you picking here to really solidify some of these positions? And it's a set. I still don't know anything. But with the set, I might have to assume that that's going to be a support trundle, really lining up some of these satchel charges and bouncing bombs from the Ziggs. I have to say that Olaf is going to go inside of the jungle, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think Trey really does like the Olaf into the Hecarim. And I imagine that's a set in the top lane. Um, I could be wrong. It could be a mid lane set. I don't know. But yeah, we're seeing the Mundo come out here now, and it seems once again the recurring theme, right? We have a jungle that goes into the back line and interrupts stuff. We have an 80 carry that really starts to lock people down. We have the support. I mean, it's the same freaking champion, so definitely a recurring theme. And then we have a tank top. And now I'm expecting a really high damage profile here, or just straight cancer. That's cool too. Anivia's wave clear is insane. The egg is so annoying to deal with. The walls, the stuns. I hate playing against that champion. I know my previous team hated playing against that champion. I can't imagine anybody that likes Anivia other than Froggen. And maybe Big Duck Entourage, but such is the way of things. As waiting really now to see Dreadzone's response to it. Maybe they already have their response to it out on the map, but we're giving it a Lucian. Alright, so I still have no idea where things are going, but I'm taking my best guess here. We have Ziggs 80 carry with a Trundle support, and Olaf jungle, a set in the top lane, and Lucian coming in the mid lane. Which I feel like Lucian can do very well into the Anivia to a certain point. I think Anivia is finally going to hit that level 8, 9, 10, 11, anywhere in between there. And Lucian's just going to really have a hard time dealing with the wave clear. Not really going to get too many opportunities to um, go somewhere else and have fun, right? Because you have just this ever oncoming onslaught of minions in the mid lane. So definitely hoping that the Lucian is able to really capitalize things here in the early game. As much as solo casting is a struggle, I would love to see a series, and I would love to see Dreadzone swing this around for sure. As we are still waiting for individuals to get into the actual client itself and see if I was right or completely wrong about Dreadzone's draft. Man, next time I'm gonna have to ask Trey to give me a little bit of a helping hand here because holy hell, that was a draft to watch. But so kind of going top to bot again. We did this before, right? And I'd love to do it again, but um, we have in the top lane maybe set versus Mundo, which depending on the set's itemization rate, I feel like he's really forced to build two things: some sort of way to deal with the health of Mundo and some sort of way to deal with the healing of Mundo. And even when you do have the healing reduction, the grievous wounds coming out of the set, Mundo's still able to heal for a metric buttload, right? So it's gonna be a little bit of an annoyance there, especially with the Mundo rework, right? Set could hit a beautiful face breaker and it not matter for anything because Mundo goes where he pleases, especially now, and all you do is really burn that passive out of him. Um, Now, moving into the jungle, which I have to assume is the Olaf versus Hecarim, I really like what the Olaf is able to do for this team comp. You want to talk about backline access? Hecarim, goes full pony in there, but Olaf just literally runs past everybody and ignores all the CC. I feel like Big Duck Entourage made a very smart move with the Anivia if they're able to execute it properly, because Olaf can run through a lot of things, but he's not playing Kitty Pryde from the X-Men, right? He can't run through walls. So definitely that could be one avenue to stop the Olaf and really assisticate. Yeah, that's a word. The Varus as he's getting into this game, and even if Olaf does get on top of a carry, Lulu's able to provide the wild growth and really help out there as well. Um, we really already discussed the mid lane. I feel like Lucian is able to really try to get an early lead on this Anivia. Has to still respect the Hecarim and potentially the Ghost Ease coming out of the jungle, especially going back into the last game. We saw a lot of a jungle attention coming out from the side of Big Duck Entourage for their mid lane. So if I was a Lucian, I'd have a little bit of recurring PTSD there and say, oh wait, maybe I don't want to extend too far. Maybe I need to know where my jungle is. I mean, granted, it didn't really work out for the side of Big Duck Entourage in the early game. Um, Argo was really able to identify ways to get the most out of those jungle ganks, and it really went in their favor. Didn't transition well, but it went in their favor. And into the bot lane, I think the Ziggs Trundle is a pretty interesting combination. I don't think Trundle gets too much usefulness in the lane phase, but definitely going to help out a lot, denying Mundo later on, providing a lot of interruption with the pillars as well. Um, but I, I I like the flex potential here for sure, as we are kind of seeing things pan out the way that I did anticipate. Seeing the set Olaf Lucian locked in respectively, so I guess that automatically defaults that Ziggs and Trundle into the AD carry and support positions. So kind of seeing things how we expected them. Um, but yeah, it's certainly gonna be once again eyes on that mid lane jungle attention. Um, Looking at some of this late game scaling because Anivia does just get absolutely massive. But I feel like Dreadzone have a lot more tools this game to say, okay, you have an easier to execute team comp, you have some late game scaling. We're not too terribly afraid of the 5v5s anymore, right? Um, I think if navigated properly, either team can take these 5v5s for sure. Um, so depending on how gold and itemization flows, it's not going to be, you know, the coin flip coming up always heads, right? We're actually going to have a more solid coin fight or coin flip on these team fights. Whereas last game, I just felt it hit the horizon, and just Dreadzone was not able to get anything that they wanted. I'm hoping for a very different game. I'm hoping that things don't just kind of fizzle out and, you know, just become an insane lull state. But the only thing that I can say is, ladies and gentlemen, hang in there because we're going into spectator delay, and we're bringing you game 2 in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I have tapped into my ibuprofen stash after that headache draft phase has given me. So we are now taking to the rift as both teams are loading in and kind of seeing some pings come out. Not sure if we're going to have any sort of a scuffling going out, but Ominous moving into the topside
Welcome to
jungle. I have to
Summoner's
imagine
Rift.
this is going to be a standard 5 point fan out from Tartarus, and it looks like we're getting the same thing here for Big Duck Entourage. So nothing too crazy level 1, things just
30 seconds until
kind of
minions
vibing.
spawn.
So I missed it last time, right? That Dark Harvest coming out from the side of Silent Elements, but looking here, I'm not seeing anything too crazy coming out from either team here. Things kind of what you'd expect, itemization wise, and also looking at it for uh, runestones as well. So we are getting a little bit of latency on the Discord stream. I'm
Minions
not
have
sure if that's
spawned.
translating over to the actual stream, and I think things have cleared up. So fantastic. But yeah, things exactly as you'd expect. Nothing too crazy going on here. Um, as both just teams saying, "Hey, we'll take the handshake level 1 and just kind of chill it out." So last game, Dread Zone's early game was fantastic, and some of it was off the back of, a little bit of unorthodox or maybe just poor decision making coming out from the jungler of um, Big Duck. And like we said, he's new to the team, subbing in, kind of finding his footing, and he really enabled Corky to do what he wanted to do late game. But also, the bot lane was extremely oppressive. We had a Caitlyn Morgana, and they were just blowing people up. I don't expect to see the same thing here in the bot lane, but I'm totally okay being proven wrong with a Ziggs Trundle here. Definitely a pillar comes out, followed up by a satchel charge. It should allow for a lot of free connects on some of these bouncing bobs that Ziggs want to throw out. So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on that. And also, another storyline that we had last game was the CS numbers, right? Like, Dreadzone were farming incredibly well, and that helped them really catalyst that gold lead really far ahead. So, definitely a few things to keep our eyes on is we're seeing the inverse in the top lane, right? Last game it was Malphite really pressuring into the Silas early, and now this game it's the Silas really pressuring into the Mundo early. So definitely a little bit of a different lane state. As like I said, we're seeing that level 2 gank come in really early from the side of Big Duck. Ominous is now here to answer. Will it be enough? As we did see that Axe connect. I imagine Lucian survives this, but the damage is now being swapped out. Hecarim low. Anivia low as well, and I don't think Egg was popped, but we said it was going to happen. We said, hey, you know, Big Duck liked to invest resources into Uncool Squash, and it happened again. Hecarim hit level 3 and immediately went for that mid lane gank. Ominous was there at the right time to dissuade any more advancement, but that did cost Argo his flash, and we saw it last game. You blow that flash, that Hecarim's going to be coming up, so Lucian has to be extremely careful if he ever wants to step up. Silent Element's taking a lot of damage here. Pillar coming out. Hecarim now on the bot side. Will he be able to get anything? Possibly Purple is now in a little bit of a scary situation, forced to use the flash out. Damage coming out here will not be anything more, as I was keeping my eye on that 3 stacks of blight there from the Varus, but I think just did not have the mana to be able to either cast another Q, or maybe it was on cooldown, but a lot of close stuff going on here in this early game, as nobody has gotten that first blood just yet, but damn, have we been close. Um, kind of looking at it again, we talked about that second storyline, right? And we're definitely seeing another gank coming out, but this time it's from the side of Dread Zone as damage coming out on Nivea, forced to use the flash. Hecarim now here will push Olaf back into tower. Ominous now running for his life. Nivea will be resurrecting, so they got the passive. Will it cost Ominous his life? And the answer is no. He is able to run out, and whew, like I said, we're seeing a lot of close fighting here going on, and we're once again seeing it again as Evil Gambit does get the first blood. Facebreaker to pull back the Mundo, and one quick fist will take them down. First blood going over to Evil Gambit on Dreadzone Gaming's top lane. And just, when it rains, it pours with these games. Everything's fine, everything's boring, and then boom, 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 you've got fights in 3 different lanes. And, while yes, it's absolutely, utterly chaotic, it is so damn fun to watch. So, things are kind of just vibing now as everybody's getting back in, saying, okay, maybe we'll slow it back down again as we kind of expect. But Dreadzone really farming well and definitely getting those kills in where they need. They got that top lane kill. They're surviving these fights, right? They blew the Anivia passive, which is going to be pretty huge for the survivability. And also, Anivia no longer has that summoner disadvantage. I'm really going to be keeping my eyes here still in the bot lane, or sorry, the mid lane with no summoners available. We might see some stuff. However, Dreadzone's bot lane is really pushed up. There's no flashes available for possibly purple. Hecarim is now sitting here in the bot lane position. Is spotted out by that ward in the tri-bush. They do control ward it. Nothing's going to come of this. So, just kind of fizzling out on again. So, we're seeing the top fight now here as the W comes out from the set, gets a lot of damage out onto this Mundo, and Para is not having the comfy lane that he had last game. That is absolutely certain. Set coming out with the ultimate, getting a lot of damage here out onto the Mundo. Mundo healing up for a metric buttload as the Facebreaker pulls him back in. Damage coming out. 1, 2 punches. Is it enough? The W comes out. He flashes to make sure he gets that sweet spot. Para once again falling to Evil Gambit. Oh, man. Fantastic job, and even with the Mundo itemizing a lot better than I think he did in the in game 1. Well, yes, he got a lot of mileage out of the Anathema's change. Let's be real, Malphite could have built any like just 6 cloth armors and would have been fine in the last game. This one definitely opting in for that Bramble Vest to deny some of the regen from the set, but I mean the regen effectiveness denial from the Bramble Vest definitely isn't gonna equate to the active item that Set had picked up, and you know that's gonna be a very big pressure point for the side of Dreadzone. I think they could honestly just walk in and get a Herald on spawn. But we're seeing the poking game come out here, and it's not going in the favor of Dreadzone's bot lane, and that's kind of be expected. I think traditionally AD carries do a little bit better in some regards because Ziggs really has to play around with the mana, and especially after the nerf to his minefield. Not really able to get too many reliable bouncing bombs after that nerf, and I think that's kind of why Trey wanted to opt in for the pillar here. But we do see Moneyboy sitting here in the bot lane. This possibly purple looks in, seeing the damage come out, and will he go for the dive? No, he does not. And Harem, once again, had 3 stacks of Blight, was not able to pull the trigger on the W. 3 members looking very healthy for the side of Big Duck Entourage. They might just look for this Drake here as I don't know what Dreadzone's going to do about it. They're opting to recall possibly, which I think is the right call here. But instead, nope, just going to keep possibly purple there, farm it out a little bit, and these arrows are connecting, but they're just not finding the lethal damage that they need. Lulu stepping up, does get hit by the pillar, but nothing going to come of this, so we're just kind of vibing right now. Nothing too crazy going on the rest of the map is we are seeing some of the red side pings onto that Herald. I talked about it. Set's incredibly strong right now. Should be feeling very comfortable into this Mundo. As Mundo is, still looking to build that Balmy Cinder and get a little bit in. I think this is going to be a plate of these minions just hit where they're supposed to. So close, but did not get it. But yeah, Olaf is starting up the Herald right now. Ominous saying, yeah, I've got a good, strong position on the top lane. Definitely, if anything breaks out, they'll be able to respond in time. Things kind of just a farm fiesta now in the mid lane as we're not seeing the revisits here from the Hecarim or the Olaf. I think that the egg passive should be back up for the Anivia. Summoner's back for the Lucian, so a lot of safety back in this mid lane. I think they missed their golden window to really capitalize on some of those cooldowns. Herald should be falling any second now. As, Trundle roaming up to the mid lane, not finding anything, Nivea off the map, and I guess that the side of Big Duck must have a feel on it because they're looking over here on the Drake. And without being able to see it, we know that Olaf got the Herald secured, and this definitely is going to be a Drake going over to the side of Big Duck Entourage. And I feel like that's a good trade for the side of Dreadzone, right? It's pre-14 minutes, you get the Herald, get a lot of that standing gold from the plates. You have a slower scaling bot lane, right? You have a Ziggs. Trundle's not really going to be that monumental for your engaged opportunities. So, yeah, playing weak side bot lane I feel is 100% okay until Ziggs starts to get some items, really starts getting those pokes out, and just starts blowing people up. Quite literally, right? But now we're seeing the poke game start to turn a little on its head. Is that lost chapter, or yeah, lost chapter coming in from the Ziggs? Definitely feeling a lot more comfortable with throwing a lot more bombs out, and they're connecting. And Harem and Atato are like, oh no, this hurts. Trade pattern still looking up here on the top lane as Mundo is now going in. There's no W available for the set. What's he gonna do now? He's pumping out the damage, but he is taking a lot of damage. Opts to ult this Mundo into the tower and shut down gold. Gotta go over to the Mundo. Oh, set, that was not where you wanted to aim that ultimate. And a little bit of an early usage on the W. Didn't have the grit, so definitely rethink that a little bit moving forward. But yeah, that really big pressure point that we had for the side of Dread Zone just got evened out a little bit. We're seeing Argo go in aggressively and immediately gets, face planted into a wall. Hecarim now looking here on the bot side. I think that was his ghost. He definitely popped the E ultimate coming in. The Ziggs gets feared to safety, and possibly Purple utilizing the flash. Atata now is the focus as we see the teleport come in. Atata turning, or I'm sorry, possibly Purple turning that damage over, getting the chomp down onto Atata. Not who you wanted to see the golds go to, but definitely winning that 2v2, or a 2v3 rather. Unfortunately, you did expend the teleport there. Mundo is now free farming on the top, but Ominous is here to answer it a little bit. Has the slows coming down. Will he follow it up? Another axe hits. He has true damage. This should be a lot of damage coming out. He's pumping the damage out, getting a lot of it here. Didn't pick up the axe, but did have enough. I think that was the true damage coming out from that E, picking up the kill on Para04. Sitting now 1-3 on this Mundo, as it's just like an all-you-can-eat Mundo buffet up there. Minus the last kill, 3 kills going out to them, 2 going to the set, 1 going to the Olaf, so... if anybody needs gold from Tartarus, I think I know where you can find it. This tower is getting dangerously low. Ziggs should have the satchel ready. There it is. Bada bing, bada boom. First tower goes over to the side of Dread Zone. Herald popped in the top side. More plates. That's going to go into the pocket of Ominous, who is going to be an absolute menace to the Varus and maybe the Lulu if he so chooses. And we're now looking at a 5k gold lead, seeing a lot of the similarities from the goal or from game 1, just this early game, very much going in the favor of Dread Zone. Instead of top lane kind of being that super big X factor, I'm sorry, the bot lane being the X factor, it's more the top lane, right? The Mundo's kind of having a little bit of a struggle bus. Did get a good kill onto the set, but I think that was mainly Evil just over-indexing, thinking he was a lot bigger than he was, and not really panning out. But Olaf walking up there when the teleport came out and was like, ooh, free gold. And it definitely panned out for them, 100%. We're seeing the flash now as Evil Gambit goes on the Harem, pops the ultimate, getting the slowdown. I have to imagine that's a dead Varus, but I think he utilized the flash to go over the wall. Regrouping with the Lulu now, and Anivia is here too. Evil Gambit now needs to run because he went from the hunter to the hunted. But should be feeling fine here as Dread Zone send their bot lane top and their top lane bot. So some interesting decision making here with no objectives being available on the map. And Drake being the next one here in a minute 30. Was that right decision? And we will find out soon enough. As, I think they're just trying to rotate the Ziggs around to blow shit up, right? Satchel charge here will get this tower, and it does. And also another thing to consider. Yeah, Mundo's a big tanky mother effer, right? But Trundle kind of mitigates that factor. Trundle pops the ultimate, and now you're looking at a piece of paper instead of a brick wall, so... definitely seeing a good bit of smart or map rotations here coming from the side of Dread Zone. As they're getting a lot of the standing gold, really trying to beef up before, the first big fight. And a 6k gold lead at 14 minutes, that's nothing to scoff at. So, we just talked about it. Sending Ziggs around the map and blowing shit up. Well, now he's in the mid lane with the mid lane tower. There's a lot more plates to burn through, but here at about now, the tower plating will fall. So, they have 4 members here, and that seems to be the MO. It's like, hey, is there a tower? Let's go nuke it, right? So, Ziggs definitely being that Hextech demolitionist here, as they're now jockeying for this Drake, which spawns in 15 minutes. It's taking the reset now, not spotted out doing so. So, I don't think that BDE should notice that they have the man advantage, and they don't, because Silent Elements immediately pops that teleport and says, hey, I got my Leandries, I'm coming back, I'm gonna throw some bombs. And really, this is the dance, right? This is where things are really going to kind of spell out here for the rest of this game. Is the poke going to be adequately applied? Who finds the engage opportunity? Because historically, Tartarus, just in this series, have not had the money on it. the root does come out, connects on the Olaf, and that is a huge spell burn right there from the side of Big Duck. They are looking the healthier members, as we did see some of that fanning out. The ultimate coming in from the Hecarim does lock up 2 members. Trundle will fall. Now the damage coming out as Ominous is running down onto a Tata. Bars falls, Lulu falls, Lucian falls, and Hecarim falls. Now Para once again on the chopping block. The egg was popped, and the egg was turned into yolk. 3 members alive for the side of Dreadzone, and none for the side of Big Duck Entourage, and that was the fight that Dreadzone fans wanted. Drake will fall. Dreadzone looking very happy about that. A little bit of low health bars, could have been a bit cleaner, but hey, an 8k gold lead, a Drake in your pocket. Herald is available on the map. I don't know if they're going to walk up for it. Ziggs did recall, so sending the Ziggs mid lane to blow some shit up might not be the play here, but that was definitely looking really good for the side of Dreadzone Gaming. Definitely a lot different of a story than last game, for sure. So, a little bit worried about that, honestly. We saw the Var Assault come out. While it didn't really do too much, it did kind of lock some members up to really line up with the onslaught of shadows from the Hecarim. And, you know, we saw some of the members just really getting low, possibly purple, looking very low. Ended up following, yeah, but, I mean, Dreadzone was looking very healthy, as we're seeing kind of what we talked about before. Ooh, beautiful satchel charge coming out onto Harem. Silent Elements does pick that up, and I said that earlier, right? The Trundle Pillar comes up, you then have a free satchel, and then bombs just one after another after another. And once again, Ziggs in the mid lane, tower should be getting very low here, and that is going to be another tower count going over to Ziggs, blowing everything up on this Ziggs. They're dropping the Herald here now, Swag Buddy Board being the focus, getting poked out heavily. Did not have the following damages. That is still a fast pony, able to get out before the follow-up damages here. Argo now being targeted by this Mundo, dodges the first cleaver, still has the tower there to feel relatively safe. As once again, the pillar coming out, Tata now being the focus. Ultimate pop from the Olaf as he is running. Hits with an axe, gets the E off, and a Tata dies. We now see Set on the top side getting the solo kill in the Anivia. I think Ominous is going to fall here too. Harem definitely for sure does, as we're now seeing the fight here go down. Mundo, just one hell of a tanky member, getting a lot of this healing back. Argo is trying to hide in the minion wave to dodge these cleavers. It's not going to be enough, as we're seeing blood across the rift. But overall, Dreadzone getting 2 towers with that rift. Solo kill in the top lane, couple kills in the mid lane. It's still looking like their game. Gold lead is still about 8,000, no, actually almost 9,000 now, as, you know, the map is open wide up. But now we are looking at where a lot of gold teams falter. The inhib is open, the base towers are dead, but breaking into that base for the final push is really going to be, you know, the breaking moment, right? Are they able to do it? Are they going to need Nash to do it? Because we still have 2 minutes before Nash spawns. We still have another 2 minutes on Drake, as we are seeing some of the gold values here coming out for the members. We are looking at a very fed Olaf, and a very fed Ziggs, and a very fed Set. So these 3 members of Dreadzone doing fantastic with their gold, and honestly, getting a lot of mileage out of that gold. The only criticism that I'd really levy right now is I think Argo has to be a lot more respectful, because I don't know if there's too many members that he's able to adequately 1v1. Maybe the Vars, and if he plays it well, the Anivia, right? But, you know, Hecarim's gonna hurt, Mundo's just gonna heal for days, and I think after that exchange, he finally opted to pick up the Tier 1 Grievous. But Tier 1 Grievous or Mundo, I mean, that was kind of the whole point of their champion zone, right? They really wanted to stop people from building Grievous and just making that not a champion. But ooh, uncool. That wasn't very cool, as you were just in enemy territory, as you no longer own that bot side of the map. Argo being focused now, Hecarim ult coming out, Onslaught of Shadows does connect, Varus will pick up that kill. And, you know, poor Argo, the team's doing things, but he's just kind of left to his own devices and like, yep, well, I'm on the chopping block again, but as long as my team does shit, I'm cool for it. And another tower going over to the Ziggs body count, as we are seeing a teleport play come out here. Axe hit, BDE Swag Money is now being focused down, as possibly Purple and Ominous on top of him. I think that kill is going to go over for sure. Stet picking up a Tata, dropping him down, Ziggs picking up the kill on that. And also, that was another tower in the explosive diary for Silent Elements, as he's just blowing everything to hell up. Now another one, is it gonna go out? It is in the range, and bada bing, bada boom, another one falls to Silent Elements. I think this man has every single tower, at least an auto attack on every single tower in this game. Ultimate coming out, pumping a lot of damage. This Zig's damage charts are gonna be absolutely insane. Kind of looking a little bit of that reminiscent of that quirky damage that we had last game. This champion pokes so much. Um, but yeah, Argo's the sacrificial lamb, but the team is just snowballing these towers. They break open the bot lane inhib. This should give them a lot of map pressure to really now posture for this Nash and end the game, honestly. If this game goes for 10 more minutes, I'd be surprised. Maybe not so surprised after last game, but I think Tartarus is definitely playing this a lot more aggressive, and they're feeling a lot more comfortable doing so. They opt to go for the Drake before maybe shifting their focus over to the Nash, and it's got to be feeling good, especially when you start picking up body count onto an Ocean Soul. Even if you don't end up closing this game out the next 10 minutes, in the next 10 minutes you should have an Ocean Soul, certainly. And that's not very fun to play into, ever, even with Grievous Wounds. So, yeah, it's what we're seeing is we're seeing a few last-dish efforts from Big Duck to really try to capitalize on things. And last game it worked out really well for them, right? The early game wasn't hot, but they pulled some less than desirable triggers, right? The double teleport in the bot lane. They saw the moment to capitalize in the top lane to get a pick, right? And it ended up buying them enough space to really get their team comp in a position where they're able to just 5v5. I don't think this is going to be the case this time, as we're going to see another pillar come out here. Lucian opts to E and Stridebreaker in. We're now seeing the ultimate come out from Argo. He's back in the game with an ultimate, and Varus falls. And we're seeing a lot of mileage out of possibly Purple's Trundle pick. I was skeptical at first. Typically, I think that a Trundle should be a response pick. But I'm 100% okay being proven wrong, right? The Trundle pillars, I think, have been about 85% of the picks that Dreadzone have gotten this game. They've been the catalyst to really ignite some of the things that they've wanted to do, and it's looked absolutely fantastic. And, you know, the ultimate coming down to just make somebody paper, and the rest of the members of Dreadzone, you know, playing scissors this game for sure. The Nash will fall, everybody's feeling comfortable, and like I said, I really think this is when you hit the gas pedal. You've got a 10k gold lead, there's no Drake on the map, you have the Nash, what do you do? And other than just look for an opportunity to just smash through this mid lane, maybe smash through the top lane, pick up, you know, some more of those towers and the standing gold to feel a little bit more comfortable. We're definitely on the tower count now, and like I said, 7 of these towers that have gone down, which is all of them from the side of Dreadzone, right, have been at least smacked a little bit by Silent Elements. Maybe he's going for a full sweep of the towers here, but yeah, it kind of seems like what they want to do. They said, hey, we have a Ziggs, let's get all this standing gold that we can, let's completely deny this map any sort of safety from Big Duck. But one thing that they have to consider is, you know, giving them a lot of free gold. The wave clear from Anivia is really hard to deal with. Yes, you have Nash, but the side of Big Duck also need to be careful because they have super minions pushing into the bot wave. Varus isn't the one with your wave clear. He does okay, but it's going to take him a while, and now you're going to be looking down the barrel of a 4v5 as, you know, Silent Element's taking a little bit of poke, but also sending Varus down to the bot lane. He's your best engaged tool outside of the Hecarim. And even if the Hecarim does connect, right? I mean, the following up from the Varus ultimate's not going to be available to you. So this wave clear is going to come out now. They are outside of the range of the Anivia ultimate to really drop on this cannon. And with the cannon just smacking away, it's not going to be long now before, you know, Ziggs is able to just do his thing and blow that tower to sky high. Set's focusing in, getting some of the pressure in the mid lane. Tower is almost within that lethal range. I don't think Silent Elements has any extra points into his satchel charge yet to fully take down that tower, but the side of Big Duck fully acknowledges, says, hey, we can no longer contest here. We need to look for something else, and look for something else they do indeed is they shift all of their focus onto Evil Gambit, who decides to ultimate out. I think that was Swag Money Boy, pops the W, getting some damage out now. I don't think he's going to be able to live. The rest of Dreadzone saying, hey, you know, you're now our sacrificial lamb, it's no longer going to be Argo, and they just barrel down in this top lane. They shift their focus now to the inhibitor after taking that tower, and they get it. And I think ultimately that's what they wanted to do. They said, hey, apply pressure. If they come for you, get these towers. If they don't, then we'll still eventually get these towers. You would get the inhib mid, and they're still feeling very confident here. I don't know if they're gonna actually walk into the base to go for the inhib here, which triple inhib would feel really bad, even with a Nivea wave clear. But I think they're just looking now to wait for this drag spawn timer and then go for it. Evil Gambit's coming up in 10 seconds, has the teleport available. They're actually just gonna go cash in. They're sitting on still that 10k gold lead. They really didn't expand it much, but they gained so much map pressure from that play, right? There's no area of safety right now for the side of Big Duck Entourage. The only place they have that's relatively safe is their base. Um, but Dreadzone didn't opt to deny a lot of the jungle resources. There's still some gold opportunities for them to get on this map. Um, so I think that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be looking to say, hey, let's see what we can get. Maybe we find a pick or something to keep us in this game. Dreadzone saying, hey, we want this Drake. And then after that, I have no idea, right? You have two inhibs open and standing right now. Your Nash is now over, so you really have to contend with this Anivia wave clear. And how you want to do it, it's going to be definitely an interesting decision for sure. The Mundo is a tanky boy, right? For sure. Set does not have any grievous wounds on him. I don't know if he actually wins that 1v1 if it extends out. But another pillar coming out, forcing a Tita's flash. But that's going to be all of it as, yeah, for a pillar and a Lucian ultimate, you do get the Lulu's flash. It's going to be a little bit of a susceptible target now. And we're starting to see those wave clear values really come out from that Anivia. Set pushing into the bot lane definitely does have the wave advantage here as the Dreadzone is kind of shifting their focus here onto this inhib. Don't really see it just yet. They have a lot of short range members. A lot of this Ziggs poke is going to come through, and that damage output onto this is actually going to be insane. The Ziggs auto attack increase is massive. Now Para's coming down, gets ultimate. I think that's Subjugate coming out from the Trundle. Will be getting smacked up, but Dreadzone saying, hey, we get this inhib, that's triple inhib. And then they literally just smash him out. Varus ultimate coming out now, the Hecarim going in, possibly purple does fall. Hara now on a killing spree as the damage value is coming out. Hecarim will fall to the Lucian. Hara is looking very healthy as Set's just saying, hey, I've got all the members of your backline here. Does take down Atita. Para is still looking fairly healthy, but now will be shifted on as Argo and Evil Gambit are now looking on to take down this tanky individual. Health bar will be eventually falling. I have to say, there's no way he can heal up anymore. He does fall. Argo going from 1 and 3 now on a killing spree. And I think this should be the game. There is 2 members left. They do have the wave clear, but hey, we've got the demolition expert, Silent Elements here. He's looking a little low. Anivia's looking for the kill. Does hit the stun. Satchel charge coming out. Will not be enough to save him. Lucian now focusing on the Anivia egg popped. Ominous is now here. Tower does fall. Varus is left alone with Set. He does get stunned up, does get knocked down. The Varus ultimate coming back will root up some of the members of the Dreadzone, but this is an open nexus. Hecarim is here, looking for Argo, does get a lot of the damage out and does get the shutdown. Swag Money now being the focus from Evil Gambit, but Ominous is saying, fuck it, I'm hitting the tower. Smack, smack, smack. He pops the ultimate to get a little bit more of that attack speed, and that will be all she wrote for Game 2, ladies and gentlemen. Dreadzone smack back and take Game 2 with one hell of a team comp. Holy hell. So, I loved the draft adaptations. I was super skeptical about the Trundle, I 100% admit. But Silent Elements on the Ziggs just running around blowing up every tower. I think he hit every single tower in the game at least once. And the damage charts were a little unlike I expected. I definitely expected to see more out of the Ziggs with how many bombs he was hitting. But Evil Gambit in that early game really generating such a safety net for Dreadzone to really kind of play around, have that X factor, and really delayed the Mundo from becoming an absolute abomination up there and just being that front wall kind of threat that Dreadzone just couldn't answer. And that just was never the case. He got put so far behind early. Um, but no, that was absolutely fantastic. And you look at those damage to turrets. Sorry, Silent Elements just did so much with those bombs and was able to just shred through those objectives. Um, but no, fantastic clapback, and we do have a series on our hands as we will be going to Game 3. And now it's up to Big Duck Entourage to say, oh, wait, that was a completely different Tartarus than we saw Game 1. And I really want to see how they respond to it. But ladies and gentlemen, here in a little bit, we will be bringing you Game 3 of Big Duck Entourage vs. Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus. We'll catch you in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back bringing you Game 3 of Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus versus Big Duck Entourage. And we're already seeing the first change, right? We're now seeing Dreadzone actually taking to the blue side as BDE said, hey, we want red side. The first thing that they did is said, hey, you're no longer to go to blow shit up, we're taking away the Zigs. Dreadzone's still opting to get rid of the Hacker Room. Let's see what other kind of things we're going to see coming out. But that's like the big thing there, right? Ziggs was really what they wanted to play around in that bot lane. They played around just on the map as a whole, right? Bot lane tower fell, bot lane went top. Top lane tower fell, bot lane went mid, right? And they just rotated around, smashed those towers. And it worked, right? They just snowballed that early game so hard, and then from there, it's just Big Duck could never find their footing. So maybe their mentality here is, hey, we get rid of that, we're able to change the landscape of the game just enough. Maybe it dissuades the Trundle pick. Maybe Dreadzone still want to go for that Trundle pick, right? So I'm super interested to see what kind of adaptations we're gonna get here. And I'm so glad and upset at the same time that we're getting the series. I'm happy because I get to watch more League of Legends. I'm sad because I have to talk more. I am not very comfortable with this. But we're now seeing, again, they do not want that Corki. So instead of that Jarvan takeaway that Dreadzone responded with last draft phase, Trey said, hey, look, the Corki was more of a threat. I want to get rid of it. And, that mid laner looked night and day difference between the Anivia and the Corki. Whereas game one, Uncool Squash took that game over. The damage output was just absolutely insane. But game two on the Anivia, we really didn't see it. And also, now we're seeing that a second adaptation. Why wasn't the Jarvan banned? Well, it's because we're going to be putting Ominous on it. So, they now said, hey, your AD carry, whether we're playing an Olaf or whether we're playing a Jarvan, they're not going to be safe. Um, and that kind of seems to be the MO. I think Ominous did a fantastic job last game of just running down the back line of Big Duck and said, hey, you're gonna have a bad time. But Big Duck now says, "Hey, we're opting to run back the Ash," and I wouldn't be surprised to see another Lulu pick come out here. I really don't like pairing up a Lulu without a really big hyper carry, right? So if you don't have a Kaisa or a Vayne, or maybe any other hyper carry, like maybe the Corki game one made sense. I just feel like it defangs the pick a little bit, just a little bit. Polymorph is still incredibly obnoxious to deal with, but we are getting a lot of a different look here from um, Swag Money Boy. Instead of playing like an aggressive go-win champion, whether it's a Jarvan or a Hecarim, now opting for an Ivern, kind of playing more of a utility-based jungler. Definitely a different look here from this player. Dreadzone now looking to respond here, and you know, kind of seeing what we get. They felt really good about the set, and I agree. The set was definitely a lot stronger than the Silas game one, especially even into the Mundo, the tanky member, right? I didn't pay too much attention to the the build path, but you know he felt fine into that tank matchup even without a Bork. So Evil Gambit, just don't ult anybody under tower, please. And that Xerath coming through. I'm not going to speak my whole entire mind on this just in case anybody from Big Duck is listening. But I like that Xerath pick. Um, so it still gives the team a lot of access to that AP, um, the poke potential, right? And what I really like about that is it really zoned off and gave them a lot more of a comfortable time dancing. And I think it really pressured the side of Big Duck to take suboptimal engages, especially around that Drake fight. So we do see once again a player doing a complete 180 on their playstyle. Instead of a Lulu, we're now seeing a Thresh come out from the support of Big Duck. So definitely a lot of draft adaptation, and I'm not sure if it's because they're feeling the pressure or they just want to change things up. And game one and into game two, they just like how things work, so they decided to kind of run it back. But now we're now focusing a little bit more on Uncool Squash. They were like, hey, whoa, we don't really have the siege potential that the Ziggs offers us with the tower destruction. So on that same token, we're gonna get rid of some of that wave clear option and really gut some of the champion pool that we really saw coming out of Uncool Squash today. Um, second blue phase ban coming over. It's going to be Graves, Trundle. So kind of just saying, hey, we don't really have a great answer into that Graves, especially since you took the Corki away. And that Trundle pillars were just so monumental in setting up so many different things that they don't want to opt into that either. And now we're going to see these last couple picks coming out. And I fully anticipate seeing an AD threat coming out from the side of Dread Zone, right? Whether they put it in the mid lane or the bot lane. Wow. All right. So not only are we seeing a difference in the jungle, a difference in the support, but we're no longer seeing that super tank style in the top lane. That could still be a mid lane Camille. We have seen it played to varying levels of success, but kind of moving away from a ranged or a control mage. Um, in the mid lane to playing something like a Camille is a very big personality shift and playstyle shift as well. Camille is definitely a lot harder to execute, certainly. We do see Morgana coming out once again. That is a possibly purple champion for a possibly purple player. So definitely kind of looking to lock somebody up and then just nuke them down. And last blue pick is going to be Talon coming into the mid lane. So yes, Silent Elements loves his control mage players, and this guy is an absolute madman when it comes to playing them. I knew that Xerath was going in the bot lane 100%, and he is just able to hit things that you just would not expect a gold player to hit. Like, oh, everything's fine, and he just hit me with literally every single skill shot. Like, when this man is on it, this man is on it. And last game, I think he played fantastically. His satchels were great, knocking people up and away, and really creating space or pushing them in. But we want to talk about AIDS. We got it last game in the form of Camille, and now we're getting it in the form of Space AIDS from Malzahar. And Malzahar is really able to deny a lot of what Talon wants to do. Talon goes in, Malzahar ults. But the big thing about a Malzahar is Malzahar is absolutely horrendous when it comes to 2v1s. And we've seen how much jungle focus these two teams like to put into the mid lane. Ivern might not be able to apply as much aggression, right? He's not going to have these level 2, level 3 ganks that you're so used to seeing from a Hecker, from a Jarvan. But like I just said, we have a Jarvan. So I fully anticipate Ominous going, oh, Malzahar, pressure point, and definitely looking to abuse this pick. I'd fully anticipate to see it, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, and it will not be the last. But I definitely think that DZG have drafted a much more stable draft for themselves, right? Definitely a lot stronger draft. Um, I think in the top lane, that one's going to be the most interesting one to watch, right? I think that Camille can do well into Set. I think that Set can do well into Camille. It's definitely going to be a skill matchup. And I think, just based on how we were seeing some things balance out, when it wasn't really a stats game, Evil Gambit came out on top. Um, so my money is riding on Evil Gambit in the top lane. Now moving into the jungle, I think Ivern offers a lot of defensive opportunities um, to really help out the Ashe and the Camille. But outside of that, like, you're not really playing utility for any super carry unless this Camille comes online. But we've just discussed that I think Evil Gambit might have the upper hand here. Now it could be completely wrong, and Ivern decides to instead focus on the mid lane, goes up and plays the X Factor in the top lane, and gets the split push Camille's rolling. Right? I would be 100% interested in watching that. But if they just kind of play things the way that they've been playing them, I definitely think Dreadzone would come out on top here. Now moving into the mid lane, Talon and Malzahar, it's super annoying for Talon, right? Like there's a lot of opportunities for him to really snowball and capitalize pre-6 and even post-6. There's some windows, right? But I think he's gonna really need that jungle attention, for sure. And in the bot lane, I I'm biased, 100%. Xerath in the hands of Silent Elements is just gonna be absolutely disgusting, and I that's one thing that I hope I'm not proven wrong on. Out of everything that I've said tonight, that is the big one here. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch this game. I think in a full 5v5 scenario, Dreadzone win, right? If you ever have a team fight around any objective, Dreadzone should come up aces, right? Talon should wait for the right opportunity to make sure that he's not going to be immediately nether grasped by Malzahar. Xerath should be playing artillery, blowing people up, Set picking people up and dropping them, right? But it's really going to be down for the side of Big Duck Elements or Big Duck Entourage, sorry, to play the map, right? They have a lot of pick potential. You have a Malzahar, the king of, like, I'm locking you down and you don't do anything while my team smacks you. Camille, she's basically got a Cho'Gath feast on her Q. Like, her second Q is just so much true damage and just hurts. Um, and the split push potential of this champion is absolutely insane. One thing that I will be looking for in champ select, or I'm sorry, in the loading screen will be those summoner spells. And that will really determine how I feel about this matchup for sure. But you've also got the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, right? And the hooks from Thresh. And also the E coming out from the Ivern as well can be a lot of pick potential for this team if they're able to find avenues and the right vision control. But there's a lot of ifs, right? So I for sure want to keep my eyes on the map, right? If Camille decides to split push instead of team fight, or if Camille decides to go all the way in and try to do Xerath, two very good options, right? Camille is able to hook shot her way through and play things very sneakily. She's a split push bruiser assassin, right? Like Riot's new champions, am I right? So she definitely has the ability to eliminate Xerath from a fight, or she might opt to split around. So Silent Elements needs to be very mindful of his positioning in these engagements, right? Needs to make sure that Morgana is able to layer Black Shield, help him out a little bit, make sure that he can survive the second Q coming out from the Camille, because if not, then it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. But I mean, with the rest of the members, right? I talk about how hard I'm sorry, Camille is to execute in this elo. Talon can kind of be put into a little bit of that same vein, right? Whereas it's not really mechanical execution. He just hits some people with some blades and then cues them, right? But it's about how you play the map, right? Finding the right angles to hop the right walls, to make sure that you hop the right wall, to have an escape plan as well. Um, seeing the level of execution in this elo is super hit or miss, always, right? You either have somebody come in and they just look like they're absolutely smurfing, or they just come in and they look like they're doing nothing. And as much as I don't hope it's the latter, right? I mean, we've seen it happen, especially with how lane states can go, right? If there's a lot of jungle interference or none at all, right? Then maybe he just gets fizzled out by the Malzahar. But ladies and gentlemen, I've given my thoughts on how I expect things to go, or how I hope things might go, or seeing into the future maybe. But I think that's going to do it as we shore up the draft phase finally, and we are now looking into our spectate delay. Ladies and gentlemen, moving into game 3, make or break for a huge loss streak for either team. Finally, starting one of these teams will be able to claw their way back and start seeing some green victory screens. But ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, gonna hop over to our spectator delay, and we'll be right back bringing you game 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing you back into the action of Dread Zone Gaming Tartarus versus Big Duck Entourage. You might notice that we're a little bit into the game, that's just because we had a pause at the start and followed immediately into a little bit of a bio break pause. But nothing exciting happened, so you're not missing out. Just another little bit of a 5-point defense coming out from both teams. We are seeing the Jarvan this time opt to go for the red buff. Like I did say last time, it was the Swag Money Boys Jarvan, so probably gonna expect this champion to be piloted a little differently and maybe get some of those level 2 shenanigans out. Um, but he opts not to go into the bot side, starts moving up to his top side jungler, so we'll see how all this kind of pans out. We are seeing some of the trades go up in the top side as well. Two things that I really want to point out. One, Camille opting to go for the flashless, which does give me a little bit more hope for the execution of the Camille. If I ever see a Camille take flash, it shows me that they're not confident on the champion. And I really don't expect a high level of performance. But Evil Gambit getting some fairly decent trades in here, but that passive coming out giving a lot of the shielding, for that champion. Ooh, Silent was not taking the friendly look on that trade as Harem steps forward and after the binding comes out, knowing that they're relatively safe to do so, but yeah, it's a level 1 Xerath, kind of what you'd expect. And the second thing that I wanted to point out here, as we are seeing more of that trading value go up on the side of Evil Gambit, is Harem opted to go for the cleanse. Does not want to be stuck in a 3-year route from the Morgana, so we are seeing Ominous now look for the top side as the Flag and Drag comes in. The E comes out and Set punches his way to first blood. Camille following in the top lane. Dread Zone Gaming with another first blood in their favor. And I think that's all 3 games here that they've gotten first blood, so not really going to be indicative of whether it's going to be a win or not. But we are seeing a little bit of a different mentality coming out from the jungler from Dread Zone, right? Ominous is saying, hey, Evil Gambit, this isn't really going to be an X Factor lane. It's going to be that skill check, right? Let's get you really comfortable. And first blood and a 13 CS lead is one hell of a way to do it. Hook comes out, not going to be followed up as Harem is looking very low. And what did I tell you? Silent Elements on this champion just getting an absolute hell of a lot of poke. The cleanse coming out and will remove the ignite. And, whew, Harem surviving with just a little trickle of HP there. And a lot of things going on in the map, but Dread Zone looking real good in this early game. Swag Money Boy kind of just hovering around this mid lane as Jarvan doing the absolute same. But Malzahar's going to be farming under tower for a little bit. Shouldn't see anything as looks like they definitely want to go for this double scuttle. Looking for it, but you know that's where Ivern came from. He already had it, so not gonna get it. But it does look like they might be trying to invade. I can't see what camps are up. Evil Gambit getting some good trade values, but yeah, Camille, like you don't have Sheen. It's a set. What are you doing, right? Slow it down. But we see Ivor now walking into the top side. Flash is available for Evil Gambit, and he might have to use it as we do see the root come out now. He pops. Does he have W available? Does have the W available as he might survive Ignite ticking, and it will not be enough. Evil Gambit surviving with just the skin of his teeth as BDE Swag Money had a pretty decent gank there. Did blow the Summoner spell in the top lane, but yeah, almost came up poorly. Set now has his active item using his teleport into the top lane, immediately looking for the speed, pulls in the W. Ivern now looking in the top side. Does he have the damage on the W? Will not have it. Oh, Camille goes back in with a hook shot. He is absolutely inting on that one, right into the sweet spot of the Set W, and that is a free kill gifted over to Evil Gambit. Camille not executing this champion the way that I wanted to see, and oh man, we talked about that skill matchup. It's coming up on the side of Evil Gambit, but I'm not sure if Evil Gambit outskilled or Camille outplayed herself, but definitely not going in Camille's favor. And once again, we have a quick 0-2 coming over from the top lane, and that's going to be the X factors. We're now looking at a 1.6k gold lead, and kind of the same storyline a little bit from last game, right? Top lane should have just the absolute pressure. Camille getting behind in this lane is a big no-no, but is coming back now with the Sheen, still looking at the same power potential from the Set, but Set has the ultimate available, and we'll see if anything's going to come up here. So, Drake available, red team have vision on it, and the fact that the push isn't really in either favor of either bot lane is interesting, right? Typically when you have a control mage, either you're really pressuring or really getting pressured. So with the fact that it's kind of just in the middle right now is kind of a testament to how these lanes are playing. Driving back on the map now, looking at his topside jungle and kind of ignoring the Drake now for a little bit. And I think that's the right move. Getting the flash out of Swag Money as he does not feel safe in his jungle. Argo moving heavily in. We see the teleport coming out now. Argo has no mana, is now need to retreat as we do see Uncool has the ultimate available. You can no longer jump that wall, Argo, as now we see the Jarvan here. The root coming out does connect. The Space Age will finally take down Argo. And we do see now the bot lane, the stun comes up, a binding connects. That is so much CC. You hate to see it if you're a fan of Big Duck Energy. Ominous now running for his life as Silent almost did pick up the kill on Harem. Ominous running away from the jungle, and we are just seeing so much scrappiness coming out. Ateta now up on the top side of the map with this rush available. The trading going out. Evil Gambit getting a huge ultimate, landing on top of Swag Money, but is it going to be enough as the W comes out, buys him some time, but it's going to be all she wrote. Is 4 members strong here on the top side of the map for Big Duck, and it was just one lone set versus the world as he falls. Shutdown going over to this Camille, and we saw that happen last game. Evil Gambit got 2 kills, felt real good about himself, and then just gave the shutdown gold over to Paras. So, well, let's see how many other parallels we're gonna have here. As we coming up on the 8-minute mark. Herald spawning soon. Dragon's still on the map, and Dreadzone's still sitting with a 1K gold lead. But you know, definitely making some questionable plays as they're overextending. So. Some things on the map here is now everybody's just kind of blowing it out a little bit. Camille getting her free red buff thanks to the courtesy of Ivern, and I think Malzahar is doing the same with the blue buff, so. Having a Malzahar with a blue buff feels really good. Just churning out minions and aids and minions and aids, and definitely getting a lot of that push is going to help you feel real comfortable into that Talon. But one of the things that we talked about was pre-6. Talon getting in some roams and maybe looking to start snowballing some leads. Opting to not go the lethality path as we now see the Jarvan here in the bot lane. Is going to get the flagging drag. Does not get it, but the flash, I think, or that was immediately going to lock up 2 members, or it was the lantern, I'm sorry, 2 members inside of the Cataclysm, forcing the flash out of Harem. Silent Elements lobbing in some artillery will get another kill as he is sitting pretty at 2-0. Dreadzone Gaming with 4 members healthy in this bot side of the jungle, definitely going to be transitioning over to that Drake, and that was well played coming out from the side of Dreadzone. But once again, kind of the members of Big Duck outplaying themselves, right? Earlier we saw Camille run face first into a set debut. This time, you saw that the flag and drag was no longer available. All you have to do is walk it out, right? Just walk that out. Instead, you opt to take the lantern, and now you're lining up for a 2-man Cataclysm. Either way, you're costing your team the flash, or yourself the flash, right? If Jarvan walks in, Cataclysm's on the Ashe flashes, everything's fine. But instead, taking the lantern, now you just set a Tata up to die. And the following up damage coming out, the Morgana getting the binding into that Cataclysm arena, meant that a Tata was just going to melt before they had a chance to flash. And kind of setting themselves up for failure with the 2-man Cataclysm. I initially thought it was Ashe flashing away to safety, but definitely was that lantern, so. Now we're gonna kind of drift back. It's really forward and stop here with these games. It's a lot of going on and then nothing, and then a lot of going on and then nothing. As Dreadzone is sitting at about a 1.5k gold lead. Every early game has gone in their favor, sitting on a Drake, right? But now it's gonna be a matter of how do we transition into the mid game comfortably. First game they weren't able to do it. Second game they were, right? And once again, we're looking at kind of the X factors here, right? If this game goes late, is Dreadzone able to 5v5? And I'd say yes, right, if they execute it properly. But we have a couple members here strong on the top side of the map for Big Duck Entourage. Evil Gambit is no longer really liking these trades as they're looking to take this Herald. Jarvan in the top side of the map, I don't know if he knows how many people are up here. But we see the ultimate come out from Evil Gambit. Camille is then using the Hextech ultimatum. We are now seeing some dive action going on as Argo comes down And with the combination of the Arcane Barrage and the Talon, they're able to get that. We do see two members answering up now onto the top side of the map, trying to get something back for Camille's demise, but it's not going to be it. We do see Ivern sitting on this Herald. Will you decide to pop it here? And the answer is yes. Wanting to get some of that early plate gold into the members. And the root does come out, and going to be a lot of damage. Space Aids ticking will get the kill onto Evil Gambit. And he just did not have that W available to buy himself some time, as Malzahar is now sitting 2-0 on this champion. And that champion can output a lot of damage, has a lot of innate weaknesses. But, you know, getting that early gold lead, this champion can output a lot of damage. The ticking damage from Space Aids, with Leandries, with some of those following up items, is going to pump out a lot of damage. Possibly Purple taking possibly a few tower shots here, but they will get, you know, some of the auto attacks, and I think that might be a plate falling here shortly. Can't really see the health bar on that tower. Oh, not just a plate, the full freaking tower. Even without getting Rift Herald, the bot lane has been so oppressive. They're now sitting on 3k gold lead. They do have the first tower. That was fantastically done from the bot lane of Dreadzone. Granted, you're getting a lot of help, right? They had Jarvan come down, really setting things up with that two-man Cataclysm. Argo opting to go down to the bot side when he noticed Malzahar was moving up to the top. And overall, Dreadzone's still playing this early game well. They had a few hiccups, mainly from Evil Gambit just being in the wrong place, wrong time. But I mean, overall, you know, for all the misses he's still getting a lot of hits, which is absolutely fantastic. He's now sitting here looking for Harem. Harem no longer has the safety of the tower available, has no flash, damage coming out, the slows are coming out, Lantern should be here, and will it be enough? It is. Evil Gambit did not have the ultimate available, or actually did have the ultimate available, just decided not to use it, thinking that he had the damage to probably kill the Ashe before she was able to get to safety. But those slows coming out from the volley, and the Lantern coming in huge to save Harem there. Otherwise, that would have been all she wrote. And especially with not having any sort of movement speed. Went for the full Wits End first, not even picking up tier 1 boots. So, cool. You know, Ateta, I criticized that last Lantern, but that one right there, that really saved your 80 carry. So, kind of once again opting back into the low state here. Everybody just kind of farming up the waves. We have Drake coming up in 30 seconds and plates falling soon. So, while, yes, they don't have the Ziggs anymore, they're still opting into the same mentality. Hey, our bot lane's pretty strong. We're going to send them top lane. Can't really blow shit up anymore, but might be able to get a little bit of this plate gold, as Malzahar was up here, decides to opt away. And then we're seeing a beautiful stun come out from Silent Elements, followed by a Morgana binding. The Camille now uses the Hextech Ultimatum onto the Jarvan. Jarvan answers with a Cataclysm of his own, and I think the damage from the Cataclysm will secure the kill. But like I said, this man in skill shots, you just cannot go wrong. He hits the stun from Xerath, followed into a Morgana binding, followed into a Flag and Direct. Camille was put into the CC bounce house, proverbially. But now they know that everybody's on the top side of the map for Dreadzone, and they say, hey, we're getting this Infernal Drake. That's going to give them a little bit more damage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to equate to all the gold that Dreadzone's going to be getting on this top side of the map. One more wave should do it, as they will get this tower here shortly. And we talked about it in every game so far, and we'll talk about it again. These CS values are coming up Dreadzone. Set outfarming Camille. Talon outfarming Malzahar, which does actually surprise me quite a bit. And then Xerath outfarming the Ashe, which once again, like, shouldn't typically be happening. Set looking here for the stop on the recall, is getting a lot of damage out here on Harem. Following it up, hits the W. It's got to be just short of the kill. Teleport now being channeled out on the Lantern. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits Evil Gambit, as now he is looking at 3 members, getting hit by the Nether Grasp. A lot of damage going out. He's not going to be able to stop it, as Harem surviving by the skin of their teeth. From that W coming out from the set. A lot of resources burned to be able to turn that, but ultimately, Evil Gambit bit off just a little bit more than he could chew. It looked pretty, it looked cool, it just did not end in his side. So, another kill going over to the side of Big Duck Entourage, but they're still looking down the barrel of a 3k gold deficit. And, once again, we had action, and now we have the boring part, right? Drake in 3 minutes, Nash in 4 minutes. We are seeing a little bit of aggression coming out from the set, but other than that, they're just, once again, even without the Ziggs, they're like, hey, We'll send bot, get towers. Send bot top, get towers. Send bot mid, and towers looking dangerously low. Ominous now here, kind of joining up with the team. I think there was a smite coming out on Daisy. As now, Big Duck says, hey, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna send our bot lane mid and kind of try to answer some of this push coming in. But I will say, in every single lane phase we've seen this game, there's been a bot gap. Or I'm sorry, this series rather. There's been a bot gap. Even game one, which did not go Dreadzone's way, that Caitlyn Morgana looks so impressive into the face of Harem and Ateta. And I definitely wouldn't want to face that, so I'm not criticizing them overly much. But like these control mages that Silent Elements is playing, we are now seeing the binding come out, and that is going to be a very fast, very dead Ivern. As he falls, and now they're shifting their focus. Ooh, Harem surviving once again, but maybe not as Silent Elements on a killing spree with this Xerath hitting everything this game. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, to keep your eye on it, and guess what? Keep your eye on it, you should. As he hits now the slow, the stun comes out, the binding comes out. Ooh, Ateta not looking happy as a lot of this damage coming out. This is forced to flash away from the Q from the Xerath and will not die. But man, just these skill shots coming out from Silent Elements this game are absolutely mental. Dreadzone now sitting on a 5k gold lead. And the Malzahar are now forced to answer into this lane as they might just face the threat of losing their mid-tier 2 tower. So, the strategy back-to-back has paid out fantastically. Rotating this bot lane all over the map and just Silent Elements smacking towers with the support of possibly purple. It's been looking awesome, and whether they discuss that as the previous strategy or not, like I can't say. Maybe Trey can answer in the chat, but it's working out well. And the side of Big Duck have no idea how to answer this, right? And once again, Ash, you're being focused so heavily, you still don't have tier 2 boots. You don't have tier 1 boots, right? This is looking like that one time that Jace played Malzahar in mid lane and then ended up not building boots until later in the game. And I think I went 1-7 that game, right? Not building boots early is not a good idea. It's 18 minutes into the game, build yourself some boots. We're now seeing another binding coming out, hitting Ateta, and he no longer has the flash to be able to survive this one. Possibly purple picking up that kill. And these skill shots have been on target. Dreadzone Gaming, looking like they are definitely in the driver's seat from this game. 45 seconds coming up on this Drake. They have no vision control on that bot side of the map to be able to secure this Drake. It is a Mountain Stole, my least favorite because it's the most lame, but it should be Drake number 2 going over to Dreadzone. We will have Ateta coming back up soon to be able to contest it, but now the side of Big Duck are starting to lose their bot side jungle. So, 17 more seconds on it, and another factor that we didn't discuss about this game, or that we've been discussing about this game rather, is this Camille, right? Has not been able to do anything. Will not win in the 1v1s versus set. Is not able to eliminate Silent Elements on this era, and I think that's really where you needed things to happen. We do see Silent Elements starting to poke out with his ultimate there. Does not actually get a kill, but I'm sure actually did not chunk any of the members of Big Duck. But definitely providing a zoning tool. And once again, hits another binding. A lot of damage going out on the Tata, sitting at half health. And they're just buying time as Jarvan's over there just smacking and chipping away at this Drake. That should be falling shortly, going over to the side of Dreadzone, as absolutely it does. Silent Elements picking that one up. And now we have to wonder where the next point of contention is going to be. Do Big Duck feel comfortable enough to contest Dreadzone at Nash, contest them at a tower, right? And without Camille doing anything, I'd have to say no, right? If you're not able to get the Hextech Ultimatum deletion onto this Xerath, he's just going to pump an absolute metric buttload of damage out onto the members of Big Duck. And even if you do, you still have to worry about Talon killing somebody and Set killing somebody, right? Because the Set's nothing to scoff at. Yeah, he's overstepped a few times, but he's still sitting pretty healthy. Still sitting pretty comfortable in this champion. But the big thing that, Dreadzone still have to play respectful for is, yes, there are still a lot of pick opportunities on their team. Nethergrasp is a very dangerous ultimate, right? Enchanted Crystal Arrow can hit somebody and set up a Thresh Hook or a Camille kill. So definitely still a lot of tools in the pocket of Big Duck, but they just have to execute properly. They're looking for something there on possibly purple. The hook went just a little bit short, wasn't able to connect, but that could have been something they could have capitalized on. But now we're just seeing once again the jockeying, and I think Set's gonna get this bot lane tower. There's nobody down here to answer him, and he's just doing what Camille should, right? He's the one split pushing. He's the one being the danger in this. Oh, we do see the Enchanted Crystal Arrow come out now, connects on Ominous, and Silent Elements is immediately popping out that Arcane Barrage, getting so much damage here. Without that shield, that would have been a almost dead Malzahar. Not quite. We do see the root coming out now. Silent Elements layering this damage. Oh, man, the Ivern is not having fun, but we do see the Camille getting on top of Silent Elements. Swag Money Boy will fall to Ominous, as now the Camille is starting to do some of the work. Does get the kill on possibly purple. Argo is going in. We'll pick up a double kill on both Ashe and Thresh. Camille is still running after Silent Elements on this Seraph. Should have this kill, but no. We'll get slowed up. The damage coming out now. Maybe one auto, maybe two autos. We'll do it. Never mind. He throws out the E, picks up the kill, and that is 4 kills going over to 1 for the side of Dreadzone Gaming. Meanwhile, Evil Gambit of the bot lane didn't even feel the need to teleport to it. He was like, you guys got it. I'm gonna go smack away at an inhib. Dreadzone wins across the map. 4 kills going over in their favor. And I think that was 2 towers and an inhib. Make that 3 towers, as they're definitely going to get this one here on the top side. We're now looking at almost a 10k gold lead. I was wondering, what was going to be next? A fight in the top side jungle? Not really what I expected. But I got to give it to Big Duck. They said, hey, we're bleeding. And we're bleeding bad. Like somebody nicked an artery and is just gushing. So they decide to pull the trigger. They hit somebody with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. But Silent Elements on this Xerath pick has been monumental. He offered so much layering damage with his Arcane Barrage that it just dissuaded the aggression that the members of Big Duck really wanted to pull there. And then when they finally did look for the avenue, they did send the Camille in to get the kill on possibly purple. The other members came up huge. Talon going in, picking up those double kills, absolutely shredding through some of the members of Big Duck. Like, this is absolutely what you wanted to see. And I believe Trajan said it in the chat, right? We live and die by the Talon. He's doing his job really well. Uncool Squash is sitting with all of the gold from his team. But unfortunately, Malzahar just isn't the big playmaker. He's kind of utility. Does really well in team fights by offering a lot of damage, but he's not the sole person that you want with the gold. Alright, so we're now just kind of lulling out again. Dragon gonna be up in a minute. Dreadzone really don't seem to be posturing too heavy to set up anything for Nash. They're just kind of chilling. But I think they should be able to layer some damage here on this tower. None of the members of Big Duck are really here to answer, but Camille is in the wings, and there's just 2 members of Dreadzone here. We do see the Enchanted Crystal Arrow come out. That was a beautiful spell shield from possibly purple, immediately dissuading it. We see the teleport coming out now. I have to imagine that's the set. It is. Evil Gambit is going to pick somebody up and drop him into the other members. Silent Elements goes unstoppable as Talon picks up the kill on Malzahar. Ivern falls to the Xerath, and we are just seeing so much action coming out here, and the Enchanted Crystal Arrows just are not doing what they need to do. There's no follow-up that's sufficient enough. Silent Melon's hitting another stun here. We'll get this mid lane tower as the rest of the members of Dreadzone look to go and take down that Mountain Drake. And the action does not stop. We're now seeing Argo going into the base. Will he look for more? He's hitting the E's. I don't know if he can jump back over that wall. He absolutely cannot. This Camille now is getting the damage layered out. Will get the kill onto the Talon. Big shutdown going over to them. But they lined up beautifully for Silent Elements to just smash them with that Q. Jarvan sitting here still on the Drake and gonna get that here shortly. And yes, Argo overextended a little bit. Gave Camille a shutdown, but Big Duck, that costed 2 people. Was it worth it? And we're still looking at 11k gold lead. The members of Big Duck really having to kill off these super minions that were put into their base by that split push that Set was able to get earlier. And now, I have to say, it has to be time for this Nash. And if not, then I might be wrong. Alright. So yeah, we're getting some recalls. They're cashing in on some of this gold that they have. And I am loving what I'm seeing out of Silent Elements. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't talked about it yet, but we have the Ludens, we have the Horizon Focus, but better than that, we have a 25 stack Medjais. Silent Elements is pumping absolutely metric amounts of damage, and it is beautiful to watch. Members of Dreadzone now are in full control of this top side of the map, as I imagine they have to be looking to start this Nash soon. We have still super minions pushing into the side of the bot lane for Big Duck. I can't imagine that's going to be lasting long because that inhib was taken quite a while ago. They are now shifting their focus onto this Nash, down under 10k. I think that the members of Big Duck know, they definitely know now with that Hawk Shot coming out. Will they look for the steal here? It's down to 2k, down to 1.5. And they did not look for the steal. The Swag Money not wanting to opt into it, did not have the flash available, did not have a reliable way to get into the pit for the steal. So that is going to be a Dreadzone Nash, and they're sitting here, 12k gold lead. They have the Nash, 3 Drakes. I cannot imagine this game goes longer than 5 minutes. Members of Dreadzone now posturing. Silent Elements really pressuring this mid lane with his insane wave clear. Pushing in through here. The members sitting 3-man strong in the top lane. One last inhib tower to take. Exposed inhib in the mid lane. And honestly, there is still an avenue for Big Duck to look for something. Silent Elements is the lone. That could be their avenue. But they're opting to kind of match the numbers of Dreadzone's top side. Dreadzone here just looking to buff up some super minions. Or not super minions. Buff up their minions with the Baron buff. And 5 members up here looking for it. But Camille kind of fell into it. Enchanted Crystal Arrow fired off. It did not hit its target, and Camille is not looking for it. Silent Elements is kind of backing off, but the remaining members of Dreadzone definitely utilizing this Baron buff cannon to smack this tower. Will it be enough? Silent Elements coming in the top side is getting a lot of damage out, but now being found out by this Camille Hextech Ultimatum coming out. You have to imagine that's a dead Therath, and it absolutely is. Dreadzone was not able to get anything from this damage that he was able to output. Will they get the tower now? I think they will. Camille taking the recall now to get back into the base to defend this. Will this tower fall, or this inhib fall? And it does. The flash come out, but immediately the flag and drag interrupts the Tata. We now seeing the set go in with the ultimate, immediately getting ultimate hit with the Nethergrass from the Malzahar. Sorry about that. And yes, it's going to be 2 kills going over to the side of Big Duck, but the top inhib exposed and killed. Still a 10k gold lead. Dreadzone still sitting with some Nash. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have an exposed top lane inhib. 2 minutes on the soul for Dreadzone. And you cannot imagine that this game will go longer than 5 more minutes. I know I said it earlier, but it has to be ending soon. As we see the members, kind of posturing, maybe looking for this Drake, and, it's really going to be up to Big Duck. Do they decide to just try to farm up with what they can? And if not, then do they opt to go for the Mountain Soul steal and contest it? And I am joined now by Jason. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great. Just finished casting OGH versus Hidden Talent. Great best of 3 series. And here we are casting another amazing best of 3 series between Dreadzone Gaming, Team Tartarus, and Big Duck Entourage.
Absolutely, and yes, a game 3-game series this is. As just winding down now, we just to spin you back up, we do have that top lane inhibitor exposed and Drake coming down in just a few seconds. But what do you think Big Duck's gonna do to try to bring this one back in their favor?
I mean, Big Duck have to. I mean, it looks like Mountain Soul is gonna be secured by Tartarus here, so a lot of it is gonna be onto the onus of whether or not they can get a pick. They do have Malzahar, they do have Ash Hour. Ash Hour goes down on towards Ominous now, but harm issues trying to fire away onto the side, but Talon does use that ultimate to get away from the Camille. So good peel from Tartarus to be able to get away from this forced pick from the side of Big Duck.
Yeah, certainly, and I mean, everything that we've seen from Big Duck so far has been really trying to rely on this Enchanted Crystal to make something happen. And if it hasn't hit, and hasn't hit reliably, they don't follow up. And even when it has, Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus has just been able to answer in a way that completely defangs everything that Big Duck wants to do.
Look at the top lane,
set on the top side here.
Look at Evil Gambit picking up, threatening that Nexus Tower now, and looks like it's gonna be Mountain Soul for side of Tartarus, which is going to be huge. This is a huge boon, and they're in such a great position with such an open base. Now, Power 04 does go and settle, comes down onto towards Swag Money Boy as well. Harm Issues gets chunked out a lot by the Haymaker. Ivan Knockup does go down onto 2. Evil Gambit chunked out as well. Ominous, look at Mike go, look at the ultimate coming down. Baby Cage, tap him in there. Ominous going in again with that flag and drag. Xerath ult from Silent Elements does snipe him out. Triple kill going towards the Xerath. Augur the Rathas wants to give the quadra kill. Wants to give. Is that the pentakill for the Xerath? 11, 1, and 9 for Silent Elements. I'm so glad I got to witness this. But it looks like it's going to be the end of the game. Beautiful gameplay from Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus and really picking up that win, especially with Super Jungler, Ominous, and Silent Elements with a beautiful Xerath pentakill.
Absolutely, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, that I was super excited from the minute that champion was picked in the draft. I wanted to see Silent Elements pilot it, and pilot it into a pentakill he did. Phenomenal gameplay. These damage charts, let's see them. Holy hell. Remember that Corky game 1? Silent Elements said, hold my beer, I can do this, and do it he did.
Absolutely, that was, even though my time here is short, that was definitely some really fantastic gameplay, really good calm from DZG to, peel away and avoid a lot of that counter engage and pick that Big Duck had to offer and, strike back on the note, not to mention Silent Elements, beautiful pentakill to cap off a wonderful best of 3 series. And honestly, the day in Aegis has been great. So many game 3s, so many wonderful banger series, and a great way to end off another one today.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited that we got the reverse sweep and fantastic series. Big Duck, super great game 1, and they just were not able to adapt to what Trajan and the rest of Tartarus really did with games 2 and 3. Fantastic series. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the hosts. Thank you for coming out, and we really appreciate all the support that we get. Since we did have a DZG series win, I will be gifting 5 subs here in just a second, so bear with me a little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for coming out. We will be bringing you some more Dreadzone action, not next week, because all of our teams managed to sink into a bye, but the week after. Catch us in September for more Dreadzone gaming action. Jason, thank you again for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you guys are clear.